Here I was hoping that I'd manage to get on here on time and I managed to not do that. What a shame. Because now it's 12 a.m. 12 a.m.? Let's see. Happy New Year, everyone. At least on my time zone, it's 12 a.m. For all I know, the stream isn't even working right now. Ooh, yeah. A lot of this stuff is not set up. Happy New Year, Lucian. I specifically wanted to get on here because originally I was going to do a countdown until the end of the year to go over everything that I know about Five Nights at Freddy's. But unfortunately, and by unfortunately, I mean not really unfortunately, my family wanted to spend time with me, so I didn't manage to get here on time. Although most people would argue that's sane. For some reason. Oh, that's why. There we go. Silly little Shizu in the corner. 2024 was a fairly interesting year. It definitely didn't go the way that I expected it to. I honestly don't know what kind of expectations I had at the time when the end of 2023 wasn't a particularly good time for me because of a lot of stuff going on involving Twitter. People weren't particularly that fond of Shizu back then. But I managed to heal myself pretty well. I think it was probably around April when I started talking with FNAF Twitter again and actually started becoming known once more. I know for a time Shizue was a recognizable person. He just wasn't a particularly famous face of the Five Nights at Freddy's series. But a lot of things have changed over the years. I created Better FNAF Twitter probably around June, I think. Yeah, it was the year of Better FNAF Twitter. I created it around the summer. I don't remember when, but when I created it, I remember I created it specifically as a space for just me to create, to post my stuff. So that way, because I kept going on this ramble about how I'm not a Five Nights at Freddy's creator. I am a VTuber and a Five Nights at Freddy's creator. I have more to offer than just Five Nights at Freddy's. And because of that, I wanted to try and separate myself from Five Nights at Freddy's, and that's why I created the group of Better FNAF Twitter, because it was originally supposed to be a space for me to share all my Five Nights at Freddy's thoughts, so that way everyone that was following me, just because I was a VTuber, wouldn't be shown a bunch of Five Nights at Freddy's stuff. Eventually, I got tired of that because I ended up getting pretty hard into Five Nights at Freddy's theorizing, but that is the original purpose of Better FNAF Twitter, which is why I find it really funny when people try to sit here and say that I created Better FNAF Twitter because I'm better than everyone else. It's pretty silly that that's the direction a lot of people took it. Originally, I did just have myself in the group. And then over time, because at the time I was vibing pretty well with a few members of FNAF Twitter, and I invited them over into Better FNAF Twitter. And then they started using it, and it just became a thing. It just became a thing. And then for a few months after that, people started complaining about it. It was fairly silly. I'm out here just trying to have fun with the rest of the community, and apparently that's not allowed. No, but Better FNAF Twitter was a pretty awesome creation, in my opinion. It managed to bring a lot of people together, and I've met a lot of people through Better FNAF Twitter that I would have never met regularly. It's been pretty awesome. I've managed to give people a platform that they actually enjoy and are able to reach out to other people on. And a lot of people managed to meet a lot of people through it. I'm really proud of what I managed to create. It's gone a lot farther than just my silly little community dedicated to myself. And of course, it's Better FNAF Twitter because I'm in it. The other FNAF Twitters I'm not in, so therefore they can't be better. See, that's just how it works. A lot of things happened this year. It was fairly strange because this year I managed to meet a lot of new people, including in the theorist space. I managed to get my way into the Ultimate Supreme Guide. I still can't believe I managed to do that. That was pretty incredible. I'm surprised I managed to get into something so important. And I managed to get in there with a pretty good theory and explanation as to what was going on with Bite Victim. One that I'm still fairly certain is somewhat canon. Plush Victim just sort of feels like the implication of FNAF 4. Although I'm still on the fence as to how exactly he got there and how many he possessed, mostly because of the whole discussion of 5s and 4s recently. It's really stupid. But that's the Five Nights at Freddy's theorizing space. I know, ain't it awesome that I managed to get in there? The truth is, that's gonna be an accomplishment that I take with me with my eventual death when it happens in a few years. That'll be one of my shining achievements. I managed to get into a Hyperdroid video, and most notably a Hyperdroid video with a lot of awesome theorists. It was a pretty cool honor. I feel like a lot of people would maybe not consider it as awesome as I do, but I thought it was pretty cool. I got to be surrounded by a bunch of friends and people that I've looked up to for years. Anywho, I did start this stream for the specific purpose of going over everything that I believed in right now in Five Nights at Freddy's, which is a bit difficult to do because I'm often on and off with a lot of stuff within this series and stuff, but I did want to just go over everything that I believed as of 2024. Now, that becomes a little bit of a problem because it's now 12:09 a.m. So, it's technically now a 2025 timeline, but it's still my thoughts as of 2024. So, timeline. I know that I've been doing a lot of dates on here. Not gonna answer that. Okay. I've been doing a lot of dates on here because I've been doing anniversary dates most notably, and there are a few questions that I have a bit of a problem with. So, firstly, when it comes to Five Nights at Freddy's 1, I know a lot of people still are on the fence about this, but I still believe it's 1993, only because it was early enough within the timeline that even if it wasn't the originally planned date, I would go on a limb to say Scott didn't actually have a planned date. I think the use of the minimum wage was just something that he remembered from when he was a kid, and that's why he used that piece of information. And that after MatPat actually said that was the solidified date, is when he realized, yeah, sure, whatever, that's going to be the date. Most notably because 1993 happens to match up with a lot of stuff. Right, T-Trans? Like, I'm not gonna read that. Like, what kind of context is that even supposed to be in? Um, I still think FNAF 1's in 1993, not just because of MatPat, but because of what we found specifically states that Hudson is a 23-year-old man. What we found is based off of is a Fazbear Fright story. The whole point of the FNAF 3 Fazbear Fright is that it's supposed to be a replication of the FNAF 1 event, because that's like the whole big bad. You're playing as the security guard. It's supposed to be 30 years. It's supposed to be a replication. So if he's also 23 and inside of this location, then that kind of implies to me that Mike was 23 when the original game was taking place, which makes sense because then lining up with 1983, he would then be around 13 years old, which also matches up with his age shown inside of the movie when Garrett was taken, where he was 12 years old. I also stick with 1993 because of the 1983 date. We know that the Silver Eyes story specifically takes place 10 years after the missing children's incident, which is considered the incident to Charlie and her friends. And so, if that's the case, then I feel like to Michael, whatever his the incident would be why he would return to Freddy's in the first place. And so 10 years after his incident would be the Bite of 83, because Scott kind of had an option to place the bite at any period of time, and yet he chose specifically 10 years before the date that a lot of people presumed FNAF 1 took place. It just kind of all lines up to me to say it's 1993. You can also use the real value code, I believe, in which it does have a lineup for 1993 to 2017, which was the release of that book. Which, putting all those pieces together, kind of tells me that it's in 1993. I'm not against it being in any other date around 1992, 1989. All of those dates I feel like are perfectly valid. I just feel like 1993 is the most comfortable that I'm with. I know, I know, I know. I'm just such an old head. I'm just MatPat 2.0 over here. 1993 is so outdated. But it's the direction that I see it. You then have other details from FNAF 1. I do think that Withered Foxy, as it currently stands, is the one who did the Bite of 87. We'll get into that, but most notably, from the original game, he's the only character that has both top and bottom teeth, a character who's referred to being glitchy all the time, a character who needs to be watched on the cameras all the time, otherwise he physically comes to you running, a character who's programmed to specifically go to party rooms, like that's his whole programming. It kind of all tells me that he's the perfect culprit for the incident. Which then would lead us into FNAF 2, in which a lot of people thought that it was Mangle. Mangle has a little bit of a problem because Mangle can't walk. Mangle can crawl, but they're never shown in the original game to walk. They're only shown to crawl on the wall and floor. Which, it'd be a little difficult to say that something, disabling the ability to walk during the day because something crawled. Last I checked, I don't think the animatronics were programmed to crawl. I don't know how the technicians explain that one. Other details. I do think the use of Jeremy and Fritz on the graves does suggest that Jeremy and Fritz happen to be characters, happen to be fathers of the children that were in the original missing children's incident. Was that always intended? Maybe not. But that does seem to be his Scott's intention by FNAF 6. These out of order. William is lurking around and Foxy go go go. Yeah, yeah. The week before doubles down on it, specifically having the main purpose be shining bright lights in them. Because I feel like if it was Mangle, he could have just said, oh yeah, where the employees were wearing mascot heads to prevent the animatronic from biting again. We've already gone over this whole thing. It was annoying. Also, we've already decided axiom-wise earlier that the retcon was William being convicted in FNAF 1. Forgot that point. I have already made my opinions clear about how a lot of people misinterpret the way that the FNAF phone calls actually go. And basically, the way that the nights go is starting. Let's go check the calendar real quick. I think it's November 8th, if I'm not wrong. Calendar. Because yes, I actually dated this down earlier because I wanted to make sure I was right about this. Can you show me? Never mind. Guess I'm just going to have to tap away. 1987. Hey, stop. Yep, November 8th is the first day of Jeremy's shift. Month. Essentially, we know that there was a day guard that happened to work the night shift before Jeremy's shift. That would have been the week of November 1st through November 7th, if at any time he was switched to the day shift during that time. But it feels like the only reason they wouldn't just go without a night guard, I feel like most likely William didn't complain about the animatronics moving until like night 7, which then would night 7, so that way it would make all sense. Now, Jeremy's week, night 1, 8th, goes through the 11th, night 4, and then night 5 on the 12th, in which, after completing night 5, we specifically see the newspaper referring to the toy animatronics being scrapped and the location closing. A lot of people don't think that that's the way that it's supposed to be interpreted. Yeah, I understand what you mean. I just got on here at 12. I missed it. Anyway, a lot of people don't like it to be interpreted that way. But specifically, he receives his paycheck and the newspaper on day 12. That's basically what's implied. What I think a lot of people forget is that the nights do not take place during the night. The nights take place during the day, which means it is 12 a.m. on the 12th through 6 a.m. on the 12th, which means that basically the moment he gets off his shift, which is during the day, he would have received his paycheck as well as seeing the newspaper saying that the location is going to close. A lot of people don't like that because they think that the bite of 87 is what resulted in the location closing. However, the week before already states that's not the case, considering the location was open long enough for Ralph to be considered the employee of the month. And also the fact that the staff were even running around using tips to protect themselves from the animatronics doing something similar. Because we're talking about a location that's already closed. And it doesn't really say that that's what they start doing after they reopen. That's just kind of what they start doing after the bite of 87, because the location is still operating for birthday parties like they are during night 7. So we get our paycheck, we get our little newspaper, and then we go on to Fritz shift on the 14th. Happy New Year. We go to Fritz shift on the 14th, which, again, his shift is 6 a.m. to 12, or 12 a.m. to 6. And then we have the bite of 87. So a lot of people get confused about that. But no, Fritz, we did play as Fritz before the bite of 87. It's always bothered me because I've always wondered, for an event taking place, there sure isn't any blood on any of the animatronics. So it's a little difficult to say that someone was bitten and then not put any blood on the animatronics. I understand Scott Cawthon's not a AAA creator here, but come on, that's kind of a little strange. But that is something that I feel like a lot of people don't recognize. Yes, we played as Fritz before the location closed. The location was closing due to the DCI, not due to the Bite of 87, because it was already set to close before the Bite of 87 ever occurred. I understand that's not as popular of an idea for a lot of people, but it is the way that I've interpreted those nights. I think that's everything that I can state from FNAF 2. No, we do have a few more things. Give Gifts, Give Life is a little bit of a difficult minigame to understand. Currently, my belief of Give Gifts, Give Life, chances are, maybe in its original existence back in FNAF 2, it was intended to be the puppet stuffing the children. I don't know. But it definitely isn't what that is intended to be now. If I were to say what it probably was, I think that it's a representation of the puppet placing the children inside of its own memories. Hence, it's 4 gifts and 4 masks in an attempt to set itself free. It had one key that it could free one of the children with, and so that they could all move on, and then it didn't manage to achieve its goal. It had the 5 gifts or 4 gifts, whatever, place the children in those memories, and now none of them are able to go away. I think that's specifically a part of William's whole complaining about how he made them have their happiest day. That never really made sense, considering that he's kind of already a Springtrap before happiest day ever occurs, unless he's referring to an earlier event where he quote-unquote gave them life. I think it was the puppet's intention that putting them inside of a happy memory from their past, that it would somehow set the children free. But it didn't. It just kind of got them lost inside of the puppet's memories. Basically making them stuck in a happiest day forever. Just one that never gets its actual happiest day. That's the only way that I can interpret Give Gifts, Give Life currently. I think that it was switched from the puppet's memories to Bite Victim's memories around the time of FNAF 4, considering that suddenly it just switches to being Bite Victim's memories. Which is why I've always had a weird question about whether or not that would have been considered a retcon, because it is fairly clearly Bite Victim's not established in FNAF 3, and yet FNAF 4 heavily suggests whatever these memories are, they're tied to Bite Victim. So I'm not sure. You can interpret them as originally the puppets, always the puppets, whatever you guys want to think. I think for the most part that should be FNAF 2 complete. I know Foxy Go 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 is pretty good evidence for Foxy being the Bite of 87. I know that Foxy Go 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 shows that it's the MCI location, and most notably shows that the children show up inside of a party room as ghosts rather than their actual death location, that being the safe room. Similar to what we see in the Into the Pit game, and Into the Pit period, in which they're found inside of a party room. I don't think there's anything else particularly. Oh, save them. I know that's a popular idea a lot of people are complaining about. I do think Save Them exists. I do think Save Them took place during the original week. I think that there'd be no purpose in establishing 2 sets of children unless that other set of children went on to possess the toys. I think a lot of people like to give too much credit to the concepts that we now have in the series, because I'm sorry to tell you, I just don't think that Scott at the time was thinking about Remnant and everything else back then. Just doesn't particularly seem to be his MO, especially considering FNAF 3 would then double down that it's the costumes that possess the soul of the character, not the animatronic parts. Not even mentioning the fact that it's a bad excuse. There are characters with like barely any wear and tear whatsoever. So what parts were taken from them? You know, it's not like any of the parts from the withered animatronics are anything like actually worth anything on the characters themselves. You also then have the problem of it is pretty established that those crying kids are supposed to represent dead children. They're not supposed to represent the souls of characters, plus it doesn't really make sense. Are we implying that they withered at the FNAF 2 location? It just doesn't make sense for why those children would be the FNAF 1 characters. It just makes more sense that, hey, William murdered some children, hence why there's rumors going on. It happens during the night shift, so it happened during his shift before we started working there. Hence why the toy animatronics have started misbehaving throughout the week while we're working there. It's pretty straightforward. It's also the reason why the location is set to close, specifically because of that event. And I've already made my opinion clear that I don't think the person who uses the yellow suit at the end of the week is referring to William. I just think it's referring to another employee attempting to use the same suit that he used to kill the DCI. So therefore, they're like, hey, this guy's about to kill someone, even though it's just some innocent bystander, because it doesn't particularly make sense for William to just casually come back. I mean, the dude was fired like nights ago. I think that is everything about FNAF 2. Yeah. Oh, take cake. Take cake. We're still on the fence about what's going on there. I think that it does take place at Fredbear's, but the character being shown is fairly clearly Freddy. Well, that most likely means that after the Bite of 83, the location did rebrand, which then would explain her presence there. Yeah, that's everything for FNAF 2. FNAF 3, oh boy. The entire timeline of FNAF 3, I did say that I'm placing Follow Me to take place in 2015, exactly 30 years after the original missing children's incident. Do I think that was the originally intended date? Probably not, because again, 1985 wouldn't be established until the book that came after it. But I do think it's a pretty good guess, timeline-wise, around when Scott would want that to take place. FNAF 3's actual timeline placement, that's where things get really annoying. A part of me really wants to say that it's in 2017, but I can't say it's in 2017. The reason I want to say that it's in 2017 is because of a beautiful book called the Survival Logbook, which came out in 2017. You then also have a lot of other pieces of information, such as the fact that the game that came before was FNAF 2, and it specifically states Five Nights at Freddy's 30 years later. If the game that we just played was in 1987, 30 years later would be 2017. There's just a lot of merit for it being 2017. It just fits, in my opinion. But unfortunately, I know that's not a very popular idea, and Scott did kind of suggest that we did uncover everything about FNAF 3 already. So I guess 2023 is when the FNAF 3 takes place, which becomes really annoying, but it's not that annoying because the location of Fazbear Frights burns down technically, I believe, the week before Halloween, which means if the events of FFPS take place at any time, it would be the week of Halloween, which then means it's a pretty smooth transition of Fazbear Frights burns down, like a day later, William leaves wearing a new suit and ends up at FFPS. That's basically what's going on. That's pretty stupid, but it just seems to be what's going on. And if that's the case, then it adds more merit to Michael not being able to be the Fright Guard because that shit takes it's too short of a time. What's up, Solar? Happy New Year. So I do think the Fright Guard was originally intended to be nobody. It was intended to be just a nobody. I know the reason why Mike Frightguard existed even as far back as back then was because of the hallucinations and because MatPat had already assumed that Mike and Fritz were the same character due to them both being fired for the same reason. However, Help Wanted then would go and mention how people get fired specifically for bullshit reasons when the company just wants to get rid of them. Hey, we just had a Bite of 87 the day before Fritz, or the day after Fritz. That sounds like a perfect way to blame him. I am having a pretty good day, Solar. And then for Mike, just like Bronwyn, would be there trying to investigate things because at the end of the day, he did know about Freddy's. His dad used to own the place. And when he's hearing the phone guy talk about, hey, I'm probably stuck in one of the suits and all this weird shit that's going on, of course he's going to try and investigate things. Most likely go and find the phone guy chilling inside of a fucking costume in the back and will get fired for it because he's investigating things he's not supposed to. So I think it really is coincidence, despite Matt Pat's there is no coincidences. No, I just think Scott was trying to be funny and have them connect, because the whole odor thing is about custom night. Calling you a sweat, calling you a tryhard. You're doing above what most people would consider. Yes, Grimstone, the Erebus Files is coming. I understand that you're not very happy that I haven't gotten it done. In the big 2025. So FNAF 3 is pretty easily explained to me. We play as some rando. I think that he most likely does die at the end of FNAF 3, and I think the person that ends up seeing the newspaper isn't the fright guard. I think the one who sees the newspaper is most likely Henry, as it's specifically about all of the items being left up to auction, and he'd be the one that goes on to go and purchase all the things from the auction. I just feel like the use of, hey, the fright guard got murdered inside of the story from Fazbear Frights probably means the fright guard died. Plus, we don't even need to go into how Help Wanted specifically shows the fire taking place on night 5. And then we get to play a night 5 and a night 6 as the fright guard. That doesn't particularly make sense. Unless we end up dying and this is just a fucking nightmare that we're forced to repeat after our death. Because it is Fazbear Fright. That would be a location full of agony, which is the whole reason we see the Phantom animatronics in the first place, is because all that shit's full of agony. I think that's all for FNAF 3. FNAF 4 is pretty easily understood. I am of the belief of Mike Dreamer. I think the story is pretty straightforward. I think the use of talking about the little boy that we're playing as, everything, etc., is specifically in reference to the fact that we are viewing nightmares that were originally from Bite Victim. I think that after witnessing something that took place there, which was someone being suited up into the Fredbear suit, specifically the Fredbear suit. The reason I say specifically the Fredbear suit is because that's what psychic friend Fredbear specifically states. He says, it'll happen if he gets his hands on you. It's specifically in reference to Fredbear. So he doesn't want to be he doesn't want to be near Fredbear because Fredbear's a spring-like suit. He's also going to get put inside of Fredbear, so he thinks that Fredbear is trying to eat people. So he doesn't particularly like the animatronics. Mixed in with his brother and his brother's friends always bullying him, it ends up building up into the nightmares that we end up seeing. However, I think that while the implication was, hey, you see this little boy that we're playing as inside of the mini games, and we're playing as presumably a child during the nightmares. So a lot of people assumed, hey, this must be the same character, and I think that's intentional. I think that's what Scott wanted us to think. But it's specifically where it stops and where it seems to be more interesting is specifically after his death, we still continue playing the game, suggesting that the person we've been playing as wasn't the Bite Victim, it was someone else experiencing the Bite Victim's nightmares. And then mix it in with the FNAF 1 phone calls, the big brother saying that he's sorry, he doesn't know if he can hear him. It all feels like, hey, after the death of his brother, now he's suffering the nightmares that his brother went and endured. I also think that those nightmares are what eventually went on to inspire William to create the Nightmare Chambers. That specifically, Michael would talk about seeing these shadows and things luring inside of the back of his head. Especially considering that those shadows would end up luring him out to the fucking, he ends up seeing Fredbear outside of his window, luring him back to the grave of his brother during Midnight Motorist, which then would solidify to William, shit, this kid somehow is seeing something. I don't know what the hell he's seeing, but he shouldn't know where this box is. So whatever's happening, there's some sort of ghost shit going on, which led him to create the Nightmare Chambers in the first place. which is exactly leads us into Sister Location. I think he originally built those observation chambers after what happened with Bite Victim starts haunting Mike. Mike starts complaining about the haunting, ends up running off to his brother's grave and all that stuff. And he just killed Charlie. So he's sitting there like, this ghost shit, I don't understand it. And that's why he ends up creating a little bunker underneath Fredbear's Family Diner, I believe. Unless you don't want to believe that the bunker that we see in Security Breach is the same bunker. If that's the case, then he builds a bunker somewhere, in which he ends up creating observation chambers and wanting to put children inside the observation chambers, which then leads to him creating the Funtime animatronics specifically for the purpose of kidnapping children. The thing is that, these are his first set of actual animatronics. Afton's not the robotic expert, Henry is. And so when it ends up going to try and kidnap a kid, it ends up taking Elizabeth and slamming her inside and killing her. And then William sitting there is all like, I can't have my public image be destroyed. And so he ends up leaking a bunch of gas, ends up taking the animatronics out, and then realizes, oh shit, my daughter's now inside of the animatronic. What the hell am I going to do? Oh shit, the eyes changed color. And that's eventually what leads him to go on to discover a lot of stuff about possession. It leads him to create the controlled shock in order to control the soul, which temporarily knocks them out and allows the AI to take over control. He ends up learning about the scooper, being able to remove this remnant from people and inject it into other things. It was originally Elizabeth that he was doing all of these things to, until she wasn't needed anymore, and which he just abandoned her down inside of the bunker while he went and created his next set of victims, that being the MCI. For the most part, I feel like that makes the most sense considering his motivations. It's pretty natural. That's pretty much everything, I think, from Sister Location. Yeah. Timeline-wise, I would play Sister Location at the same time as FNAF 3. I think. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to play around with it again. But I do know that I specifically like the idea of it being during FNAF 3 because of the cutscene specifically showing a Fazbear Fright's already burnt down, which to me implies, yeah, we're playing this game basically one-to-one with FNAF 3. I need to see if it's possible that he then could have worked for Henry, but I don't know. I'd have to look into it. Oh, wait, no, I think I understand it now. Specifically, during the custom night scenes, we end up seeing as 5 days go by. I think those 5 days could represent the days in which Fazbear Frights are taking place. He's specifically wearing long sleeves, which means that it could be October, which then would place Sister Location shortly before FNAF 3, the custom night week, in which it ends showing us Fazbear Fright's already burned down, which then would be around the time Mike gets a call, hey, they're building a new pizzeria, let's go check this shit out. Specifically because he states he's hiding in shadows before he goes and sees his dad. I feel like that makes the most sense to me. I'd have to plot it all down. Rest of the timeline's pretty easy, simple. Use FFPS. I don't think there's anything I haven't mentioned so far about FFPS. I think I've got that pretty down. UCN, I know a lot of people disagree with it, but as I stated before, I think it's the connecting point between the games and Fazbear Frights. I think FFPS is the ending of the original games. That was supposed to be the end of everyone. I think UCN only exists so that way it could transition into the Fazbear Fright stories. So that way, he would end up having this new character that's using all of the agony from all of the characters that were in FFPS. Michael, Bite Victim, Cassidy, all of these characters who were there, and forcing it onto William. I feel like that's what makes the most sense. And that person would then later be revealed to be Andrew inside of the books, because that was the specific purpose of that whole encounter. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but to me, that's the interpretation of UCN I get. For the rest of the series, it's pretty straightforward. Fazbear Frights goes on from the Man in Room 1280 until Larson ends up destroys the trash rabbit by throwing the marionette mask at it, and it leads to Jake setting everyone free inside of their happiest days, and Larson gets his hand on the remnant pendant. He then goes on to give it to Jessica, presumably off screen, as the very end of the very last canon story of Fazbear Frights is related directly to the very first canon story of Tales from the Pizzaplex, Frailty, in which Jessica is running around with the same pendant that Larson was just handed and told to do whatever the fuck he wanted to do with it. It's pretty straightforward to me with that direction. And then Tales from the Pizzaplex would go on to have a story called Help Wanted, which refers to a developer called Steve Snodgrass, who ended up creating 3 games. He didn't manage to complete the 4th game, but it is assumed that Fazbear Entertainment went and continued making the rest of the games, considering Tales from the Pizzaplex would also mention things like Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Simulator. So that suggests that Fazbear did continue making games after Steve was dead and would directly connect to the Help Wanted game, in which they end up trying to defame his career and all of the games that he made by trying to make fun of it in creating the Help Wanted game, which is directly connected to the Mimic line, in which they ended up using the Mimic in order to copy all of this code and create the concept of Help Wanted, which then leads to a virus being inside of it. Virus, glitch trap, goes on to possess Vanessa. Pretty straightforward, leads us into Security Breach. She's now the main guy. Gregory is going around. He's also been infected by Glitchtrap, presumably after putting on a Vanny mask, or maybe he also was inside of the VR experience and ends up getting saved by somebody, in which he ends up going around playing all the arcade machines until he can set Vanessa free. And by playing the Princess Quest minigames, he does manage to set Vanessa free. We know that Cassie's dad, I think he might be Jeremy from the beta test. We know that he ends up working at the Pizzaplex. We know that he ends up getting trapped inside of the Vanny network, and that he ends up handing the mask as MaskBot to Cassie when she shows up. Because Gregory and Vanessa tried to seal the Mimic, who was brought there during under construction, who's now just casually sitting underneath the Pizzaplex after everything that's happened. And they try to make sure that he can't escape. Bring the Mexis machine in there, throw on the nodes, everything fits perfectly. Cassie comes in after being called there because Gregory left his fucking walkie-talkie. It's pretty straightforward. That's the entire timeline. I don't think I'm missing anything other than the week before, Return to the Pit. I think that's pretty much everything that's important. Because we could sit here and talk about all the minor things, but I don't think they're particularly important. I think that's everything from Five Nights at Freddy's that I can think about. There are a few other questions. Bite Victim, I don't think I mentioned this. Bite Victim goes on to possess all 5 animatronics. Although it's complicated, it could be that he possesses the main 4 and that Cassidy also possesses the main 4, so therefore they're parallels to each other. Or it could be, when do you think the Frights epilogues take place in comparison to Help Wanted, the indie games, given the merch? I think that the indie games start as soon as 2024, and that they're still going, and that Help Wanted most likely takes place in 2030, which then would match the whole September 2007 being Vanessa's birthday, which then would make her 23 as of the events of AR. That fits perfectly to me, in my opinion. And I believe that the rest of the stories end before 2026. No, 2028, I think, is when all the stories end. Somewhere around that date. And I think that they got popular not off of Help Wanted. I think they got popular off of the indie games. Because the indie games were already popularized by that point. I mean, a FNAF 4 or Night Terrorizers or whatever you want to call it did already come out by like 2025 at that point. So a plush trap running around wouldn't be too far-fetched in my opinion. But I think that's everything. I don't think there's anything else that I'm missing from the FNAF timeline. I know a lot of people don't agree with a lot of the stuff that I said. Or a lot of piece of information that a lot of people do not agree with. But we'll see. I think that's the most make sense timeline that I've made so far of all the pieces of information. Oh shit, it's already 12:45. It's 45 minutes into the new year already. I'd have to place it all down, but I think that's everything. I don't think I'm missing anything. FNAF 4 is in 1983. The puppet Charlie dies in 1983 in October, which is around the time of Curse of Dreadbear, in which it shows that Dreadbear, a representation of Bite Victim, is already dead. I think that's everything. Yeah, I think that's everything. Oh yeah, Help Wanted also matches up. This was relaxing. I hope so. All I hear is the sound of my sick voice rambling on about FNAF. Phantoms, the solidification for that, by the way, would be the ending of Curse of Dreadbear having the Pizzaplex under construction at the end of it. So if that's around 2030, we already kind of predicted under construction was around 2030, or around when the Pizzaplex was opened-ish. So I feel like those line up pretty well to me. I think overall that timeline makes the most sense. Of course, you have to add a little bit of narrative in there, having Michael Afton go back to Freddy's 10 years after his brother died. And now, after he experienced all the weird things going on at Freddy's, he's contacted by his father to go down to the Circus Baby's Pizza bunker. Actually, I was originally planning on making an entire timeline from the perspective of someone, like, listening from, like, phone guy tapes. But it wasn't supposed to be phone guy, it was supposed to be some sort of investigator. I actually kind of have it. Let's see, wrong one. There we go. Let's see. Show you guys some of this stuff. Let's go in close FNAF 3 real quick. Which one would it have been? Is it 153 or 155? Yeah, this one. Let's see if it loads.
Hello? Oh, it's you. Christopher told me you'd call. Give me a minute. I'm almost in the office. Are you still there? Good. So, he tells me you're looking back into the Fazbear case. That must have been what? Decades ago? What's the interest about? No, let me guess. It's about those games, huh? I usually don't go back into cases out of childish curiosity, but I'd be lying if I didn't say the case interested me as well. I got a few folders detailing everything from back then, with a few blanks I tried putting back together myself. So, let's go back to the beginning. June 26th. No year listed, at least not in this case file. But considering it was filed before any of the others in the pile, I figure it's before 1987. Let's see, a man, an employee, was found luring 2 children on camera toward the bathroom halls. Considering the suit he was using, it's believed that he took them to an employee-only location found behind a false wall in the location, referred to as a safe room. According to the tapes from the company at the time, they had 2 of these costumes, the Springlock suits. When the police went into investigation, it was determined that a total of 5 children had gone missing.
I think that's going to be all the teasing I do so far. I think that's a pretty cool concept to me. And I feel like if I do a full timeline anytime soon, I'll finish that. I like that style. It's pretty cool. I just got hung up with other responsibilities, like a certain thing called the Erebus files that my friend won't. I did promise I'd make it for Christmas for him, so I have to do that before I finish it. But I think that'll be pretty awesome when I end up actually releasing it. I feel like when it comes to releasing timelines, you got to find a unique way to do it that isn't like anyone else's. Because otherwise, people are going to go and find the one that's just better than yours, unfortunately. And I feel like if I have a unique twist like that, it'd be something worth your time. I do think some decisions that I end up making is I do want to end up having a lot of different footage on the TV while you're watching it to explain what's going on. But other than that, I feel like it's a pretty cool format in my opinion. I actually created thumbnails for it too, but I don't know if I can end up showing you guys that without revealing other stuff. So let's see. We'll go to. No, we're not going to do that. Sure, we can place it. No, let's go somewhere else. Definitely not there. I think maybe I'll just put it in general chat of the echo chamber. Because I did create a set of thumbnails specifically for that style. Okay, here we go. Full screen. So, here are the thumbnails I created. We have the first one. I thought this was pretty cool. And after I created this one, I wanted to try and get the same effect on all of them. And so the second one, okay, so this first one, the Afton Files, was going to be about 1 through 3. The second was going to be about 4 through 6, hence why Mike is the face of this one. The third was going to be about Fazbear Frights, hence why I have Larson as the face of this one. Then we'd have number 4 be about Tales from the Pizzaplex, hence why the Mimic shows up here. And then we have Vanny showing up for the modern timeline to explain what's going on in the games. And then it was going to have a full series with everyone, and that was going to be the concept. I think it's pretty cool, in my opinion. I will end up completing it, so you'll end up seeing those thumbnails again someday soon. But I do have some other ideas I want to play around with first, because that's a pretty big project. Other than that, it has been an hour into the beautiful new year, and I've already covered everything that I can think of covering right now. Let's see. No one wants me to jump in conversation. I don't think so. I think that's going to be it. Well, let's see. I'll give them. We'll jump into Party Room A and see if anyone joins. If no one joins, that'll be it for tonight. Because I think I've already covered everything that I wanted to cover. No, you don't think so? I'm going to have to create a new office. Please, inform me, T-Dreads. Are you here to rain on my parade? Let me know how wrong I am. Okay. Yeah, you know, I can't say no. A lot of people would be against it. The thing is I did now. A lot of people like to throw around concepts around, and like to think that most theorists are like, for some reason, these out of touch people that have never touched. Let's be honest here. You've thought that Mike was the fright guard. You might still currently think Mike is the fright guard, haven't you? That's why I always find these concepts. It's so funny how a lot of people like to sit here and be like, no, but you don't understand. I do. I do. I was someone who believed in Mike Frightguard. You don't think I know? You don't think I know why it's such a popular idea? Yeah. And it'd be more damning if Scott would just sit there and be like, guys, the book, ignore any of its weird things. It takes place during FNAF 3, okay? If it's not meta, please stop saying my book is meta. It's canon. Come on, guys. Sorry, Scott. You gotta be a big boy and tell people what's going on. You can't just expect everyone to know. Boom. Oh, what's that? Of course.
William Afton's a fucking idiot, and like that's the whole video. But it's just me talking in a soothing voice,
Yeah.
and I'm making a background for it right now, and I'll show you. It's fucking baller. I'll show you the current progress. Boom, sneak peek. And like I added this cool snoring effect to it, and I'm gonna add like Z's coming out of his mouth. Dude, fire. See? He's like, wee, woo, wee, woo. Tell me that's
Right.
not. Tell me that's not lit. Oh, did you just join?
That is pretty lit.
I run it back. Wee, woo.
Freddy's just a vibe.
I'm gonna get 1 fazillion followers.
Of course.
Oh, dude, this is the hardest part of the thing is all this editing you have to do.
Oh, I 100% agree. It's one of the reasons why I get really burnt out. I hate editing.
Yeah. You've been doing good lately though. You've been like putting out a lot of stuff, so
I've been trying, but they've gotten
I
pretty.
noticed, yeah. I noticed like earlier this year you didn't make any videos.
It was a fairly droughtage time. Listen, man, the end of 2023 was not pretty good for me. I was
Yeah,
really
I get
just
you.
I was currently still in school at the time. I was going insane.
University.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that too right now.
It got so much of a
Luckily,
problem. I had to talk to my dean, and then they said, "Bro, just go do YouTube or whatever, and then come back when you're done."
yeah, I get you.
My mom was not very happy about that. She was like, "Bro, you can encourage him to go fuck off with YouTube."
I think it's doable if you do the research.
Hello, Afton.
You know, I feel like a lot of people don't put the work in for it, and then they're like, why aren't I famous? And it's like, well,
I mean, come on, man. I mean, I made like one video that it's perfect.
I made a video about Mr. Beast. Why am I not as famous as him? What a
It's
hit.
it's gotta be they're paying off YouTube or something. I don't know what those
True.
YouTubers are doing. No,
This reminds me of fucking J. Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man.
it's gotta be paying them off.
Spider-Man is a menace.
Gotta be paying them off. There's
It's
no
the
other
only
way.
explanation.
There's no other way the public would be okay with Spider-Man.
Making FNAF video.
Do you think Spider-Man would be a good FNAF tuber?
Hey, Sir Cypher's here.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Dawko again.
What do you think, Sir Cypher? Do you think that Spider-Man would make a good FNAF tuber?
I guess we'll never know.
Bro,
Thinking about it.
bro just came in here and died. You good, Sir Cypher? Gonna take that as a no.
His Dawko impression was too optimal.
Dawko is silencing him. He's trying to take him down. See, Afton, the thing is quality is awesome. Quality's awesome. But what you really got to focus on is being a constant source of information that people can rely on.
Or be funny.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Or
Let's
be
eye the
funny.
second one. I actually don't know anything about the lore. I just joined the fandom yesterday.
As long as you keep the community entertained, the community will continue coming.
They'll continue what?
Listen, I recognized it the moment I said it, but we're just gonna move on. See, that's the whole thing. You gotta show the community that you're worth their time, which then makes it a real wonder why the community put their faith within the wrong person. Sir Cypher, I feel like you're just going through it right now.
His internet connection is apparently.
My mic, hold. What was... Oh, for a
Yeah.
second I thought one of these similarity meters said 14. I was going to say, oh boy.
14.
14.
It's finally back.
What the fuck? Why am I randomly seeing Mr. Deskpan in a Spider-Man costume? What did I miss? I clearly missed a lot. Never a quiet day in the FNAF fandom. Never ask an Andrew fan what they think of the number 14. It doesn't end well.
Did you come up with that, or did someone in chat?
Phantoms did in chat.
Hello? Hello?
You're live.
Oh my god, what the shit happened?
Who knows? 14 theory.
Internet connection.
True. I think
14
14 theory can be appreciated by a man of Andrew class. It's only those weak-minded Andrews that can't accept it.
That's what
Weak-minded.
Listen, man, there are some Andrew fans out there that want to put him in everything. Not everything has to be about Andrew.
He's in the DCI, he's in the MCI.
It's like, don't worry, guys. As long as I keep saying he's somewhere, He'll eventually show up somewhere.
Teacher, if you come up with guess the FNAF book video part 3, I'd love to come up with fake story ideas.
Dude, I just know they're gonna be fire.
Is
Oh my
14
god,
is
I have
14
some
Theory
beautiful
gonna
story
show up?
ideas.
Dude, I'm gonna talk to Rye Toast about it tomorrow.
No shot.
I'm gonna do it, dude.
That's gonna be the opening of the fucking. So, guys, what do we all think of 14? Pretty cool number.
They all know what it is.
Let me.
Pretty cool number, guys.
No, I'm actually gonna do it. I don't give a fuck.
14 Theory is just perfect. Hang Drew.
Did you see the
MMX.
shit
Fuck.
I was doing yesterday in the chat?
What's that?
I was comparing faces from the FNAF movie. And
Rytoast is live 4 hours ago. He's trying to steal my thunder.
what makes me laugh the most is that apparently Matthew Lillard and Josh Hutcherson look alike the same amount that Elizabeth Lail and Jessica Blackmore look alike.
That reminds me, how many of the 2025 bingos do you guys think is gonna get activated?
Definitely Mike Afton, 100% after that percentage rate.
Yeah, I could see it.
You mean in the movie?
Maybe Shatter Victim, maybe.
Yeah,
We're
we
talking
got.
about the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, Mike Afton in the movie would be fucking crazy.
Have you seen the percentage I did with the actors and actresses that played Mike, his mom, William, and Vanessa? Because they're both. I tried different pictures and I tried different faces, and they're both 49% similarity. Like, what are the odds out of any other percentage that it would both be 49? And it was like, it was the highest out of all the ones that I did, which
Well,
is really weird.
except for Abby and Garrett.
Yeah, it's funny because if you look at Abby and Garrett, right, you can tell they're siblings. But it's like if you go to Abby and Mike, they're like 20%. And in the book, Abby's like, besides the longest thick, besides their thick, slightly wavy hair, Abby didn't think her and Mike looked much alike. And I was like, that's actually funny.
She's gotta be nicer on herself. Hello, molecular mate. Well.
Yeah, I don't understand the Henry is Mike's dad in the film theory. I've done the calculations. I could see why people would think it, but there's a lot to disprove it if Charlie isn't, if Charlie is real. I would like to see Charlie.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Charlie in the movie.
I think Charlie is gonna be the puppet. I don't see anyone else being the puppet other than Mike's mom, probably.
I don't know how to put this on here without making it too small to see.
I don't believe that the puppet would be Garrett. I think it's either Charlie, and second case scenario would be Mike's mother.
Living Tombstone theory. So
Exactly.
hot.
Yeah, but even if Mike's
Andrew
mom isn't
Puppet?
the puppet,
Andrew Puppet? What the fuck are we supposed to do with that?
Andrew-
That would be massive. You know what else is massive? Actually, I do.
Paper fade.
oh,
Imagine.
It's the low taper fade meme.
Taper fade. You know, that low taper fade meme is still massive.
FNAF 2, it's been so long, could work very well with the film, even if Mike's mom isn't the puppet, because
Because
it's
she
about
killed
a
herself.
grieving mother. I mean, yeah, but it's
It's
about a
just-
grieving mother who's grieving over her kidnapped child from Afton, who is Golden Freddy, apparently.
I think we need to put Withered Circle down. 3 hours ago, looking for lore in the survival logbook and found Mike victim evidence.
Mike
I think we gotta have a conversation with him.
No, I think we gotta have a conversation about Will Grief.
Where have you seen Will Grief make a reappearance?
It's happened for people. I've seen it.
The vengeful spirit are the friends we made along the way. You should look into a little individual called Oblitus. He created a concept called Dead God. He also came up with that concept.
Isn't Dead God like the Tangle, and then there's like a cult of
Yes.
rabbit people?
It's about the remainders of the storyteller. He found Mike victim fifth evidence. It's so over. What the fuck is that even supposed to mean? How do you feel about Hatsune Miku coming to Fortnite? Never been more excited for something in my life.
Oh, are you streaming?
Did you not know I was
Yeah,
streaming?
No. Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier, and welcome back to another
Somebody
episode of
talking about
Shizu
Mike victim in the big
Hunter than the
2025.
Lore.
Peak God Theory. Listen, God Theory is based. FNAF would be a lot
do you-
easier if everyone just accepted that everyone's theories are correct. Everyone's theories.
Exactly. No, you is right. Exactly.
Well, sorry, everyone except for Wilcare. Everyone except for Wilcare.
I agree.
But come on, guys. You guys need to think about it like both Cassidy and Andrew are the one you should not have killed. Come on. Have fun at work, molecular mate. Upload a video, molecular mate. What if every theory was correct at once? See, that's what I'm saying. It's that everyone else's theory is wrong, so how's that? That is a fairly difficult question to ask. Is that really a theory or more so an opinion? Because in order for you to have a theory, you'd have to have evidence. I suppose your evidence could be that no one else is Scott Cawthon, so therefore everyone's wrong, but I feel like that's more of an assumption. Oh yeah, the fucking people are having sex with robots fucking meme. That is this year, huh?
Dear God. Happy New Year, FNAF fans.
Steelwool is now sponsor.
See, now I'm looking at the stream. I did not mean to pop in here on stream.
You're gonna. It's just a casual. I explained my entire timeline earlier. It was not very clean.
Understandable.
My theory is that I may post a video this year, bro. It's a whole new year. If you don't upload an entire video this year, I'm gonna be pretty upset with you, Mr. Molecular Mate.
I gotta change my profile picture now that it's
Not Christmas.
not Christmas anymore. Hold on.
I think Mike is still alive in FNAF, meaning he escaped. Oh, you have a good theory there, Mr. Afton.
I honestly believe that. I think Mike survived FNAF 6. I think he like left or something like that.
We did say that everyone's theories were We're canon, didn't we? The garbage disposal is pretty attractive. What the fuck? What are you talking about?
What? What?
Donate to the PC fund? Listen, Mr. Mate, I have to get myself a job before I can do that for you, buddy.
Give myself a better profile picture. Anyway.
Mhm.
Send me something, anything.
What the fuck is TJ going on about? Scott Cawthon will play Mike's friend. Skibbity Toilet will be referenced in the movie. Abby will use the ball pit to go back in time.
That'll be fire.
What the actual fuck are they
Peak,
talking about?
peak movie. And
FNAF
Mike
2.
is revealed to be an Afton. Peak movie. Listen, I will accept literally anything as long as Mike is William's son.
Hey, if she goes back in time and no, she wouldn't do that. They wouldn't kill Abby off in the movie. Never mind.
Abby becomes the sixth missing victim.
Exactly. Abby is the one you should not have killed. She's gonna walk in. Oh my god, it makes so much sense. She's gonna go back in time, witness the MCI taking place, and William's gonna chase after her, and then she's gonna jump back into the pit. And
Exactly.
that's how they're gonna introduce Andrew into the series.
Oh my god. Andrew is real. In the film.
Mike will go and try and jump into the ball pit, and then he'll reach down and he'll feel the little boy's arm and he'll rip it up and he'll find Andrew. Abby Drew. Can't
That
wait
would be
for the
so wild, though.
Fazbear Frights TV show. I am surprised a lot of people are sitting there not realizing that we are getting a Frights TV show. Ain't that awesome?
You know, it'd be really cool if we got a Michael Afton show or like a William Afton movie, like an Origins movie.
I have desperately wanted an Afton TV show for a very long time.
It's like the Penguin, but Afton.
That is what my little novel I was writing is about. It was supposed to be based off of what I would do for a TV show directed around Afton. Season 1 would be particularly just about William from the very beginning to his spring locking, and then if there was a season 2, it would be about Michael.
That would be sick, bro.
Be Michael going down to the sister location bunker. If we're assuming Fright's guard, maybe he goes to Fright's and then goes to FFPS and burns the place down.
Yeah, I would like to know what Mike is up to. After sister location and get to 3.
It's a good thing you were not here earlier, Sir Cypher. Can't wait to watch
Uh-oh.
MatPat giving birth to Springtrap. Oh, do you think he'll get casted? That would be so perfect. Can you imagine? MatPat's like, guys, I have a really important acting gig in the future to get to. It's him fucking pregnant with Springtrap. He's got to bring it to life. Come on, guys. In the flesh, in reality. Come on. Wait, if we're doing that, does that mean that fucking Hudson's father is gonna be Daco?
Oh my goodness. I do like Mike Virgil. I'm on the fence of like, oh, what is it? Mike might even have a child. That's the thing under Mike Virgil.
He does have a child. It's called Gregory.
No, you right. You are so right. I really want to like do something with that in the future. Because like I have a few like bits and pieces of things that I found on that.
Can you believe the FNAF movie came out 2 years ago? That is insane. Do you believe this is, I don't 2025 is going to be such a long year. We have so much shit that we're going to be able to experience.
What is the thing that you're looking forward to the most in FNAF 2025?
I think Scott needs to lock in and make Fortnite X FNAF. If that happens, that'll be my most
I
favorite thing of
agree.
this year. But second to that, probably the movie. I've been waiting for the movie for a while.
I can't wait to see the toy animatronics in the film. They're gonna look so cool. And the Wizards, oh my gosh. Withered Bonnie. I cannot wait.
That is interesting. They are going to have to make Andrew a canon character in live action, aren't they? If they're making a Fazbear Frights TV show. That's interesting.
I think what's interesting is Golden Kid is a boy
My question
that
is,
might be
are
representing
we
Andrew.
getting Lillard back for, well, I guess technically William's never really William inside of Fazbear Frights. He's kind of just flesh and then a monster of metal.
Often answer the book debates of my life is yours.
Jonathan, answer the book debate and my life is yours.
I think you will. I think with after the Into the Pit game, I think he's going to continue to make more book games to answer some questions about that. In fact, I think he wants to answer the book debate mainly because of the Tales games, you know, reveal that just happened out of nowhere.
He's gotta just come out and say it.
I mean, he said yes, that is correct. I mean, yes could mean yes could either be a troll or it could mean like yes, they are canon. What I mean, we know they're canon, just in continuity is the question.
I was literally having shower thoughts about this. Well, technically not this morning, yesterday morning. I was sitting there thinking, I always find it funny how people try to use frights similar to the Silver Eyes, because Scott specifically said the Silver Eyes wasn't intended to be used as the puzzle pieces to
Exactly.
fill in blanks, and then continued to say that Fazbear Frights was the puzzle pieces to fill in blanks. I'd have to go back and see the exact
Exactly.
wording, but I'm pretty sure they're fairly similar. Let's go do a bunch of research, guys. Let's go do some research. Let's go back to let's go to browser maybe. Let me put my browser back on because this thing don't want to work.
Do you have any FNAF 2 movie theories? Any predictions?
I've already made my piece. I said that 100% the construction crew are going to be either the withered animatronics or the toy animatronics.
Honestly, that would be pretty cool.
It just matches each of them. I've already explained how it's fairly funny that they were killed by each animatronic. I have to go back to Steam pages, and I only have his Reddit pages.
I mean, I have a few ideas. Like, I do think the toys are gonna be possessed somehow. I do think that, um, I feel like this location is gonna be like a swapped thing, where you know how FNAF 1 was like a remake of the original Freddy Fazbear's Pizza,
Mm-hmm.
but this time it's FNAF 2 because it's a sequel.
This is true.
I think that Aunt Jane might be alive. I think that Aunt Jane might even be William's sister, and that would make Mike an Afton.
That is not what I meant to click. I meant to click view posts.
What else? I think Charlie's gonna be the puppet. I think that Garrett is gonna be Shattered and or Golden Freddy somehow. I think that what else? Henry's gonna show up and reopen the location. Build the toy animatronics to for security measures. Um, we're gonna find out that Afton planned an attack to kidnap Garrett because of his ex-wife taking Garrett. Or Mike, no, sorry, taking Mike, not Garrett.
Come on. 2015. When was the release of the Silver Eyes?
We might get a Fritz Smith reveal. Maybe.
December 17th.
If it turns out that somehow Mike is Jeremy and gets bitten and there's an actual Michael Afton, I might rage quit.
I still feel like he's got to die. He's got to die.
I think Mike might get scooped after being revealed to be an Afton, perhaps, but that's just wishful thinking. I mean, it would make sense if he was scooped.
Dash an important piece of information. Let me write. Can I open this up in another fucking tab? Please, thank you.
I mean, Mike Fritz might be the case in the film, because if you have Mike committing crime from the first movie, like, and now he's like convicted of maybe murder of Aunt Jane. I mean, yeah, the toy animatronics would be like, "Oh yeah, you're not welcome here," or something like that because of his criminal record. It would be really great to see Doug work for Mike in the court system against Jane's murder.
From what I hear,
I
the end
think
of the novel said
Markiplier.
that he had a whatchamacallit job, a construction job.
I think Markiplier should be Jeremy Fitzgerald. That would be so funny. And then he gets bitten by Mangle, and then like that's the bite. That's how they reference
He's
the
at
meme.
the
They don't,
butt.
like, outright reference it.
Where the fuck is his post?
Do you think that they're going to reveal the bite of 87 fully in the film? Because I kind of do.
Maybe. I think so. If we get a bite of 87, it's probably going to reveal who the person who did it is.
Who? Okay. I know you probably said this, but who do you think it was?
I said it was Willard Foxy.
Interesting, because I think it's Mangle.
That's April 2016. Where?
I think it could either be Mangle or Withered Foxy, because in the week before he said it was a Fox animatronic, if I'm not mistaken.
Am I going insane? I know this dude has a motherfucking...
That would be really cool, Afton. So I'm trying to put together pieces to the twisted ones for how we could put together a plot for FNAF 2.
FNAF, Steam, The Silver Eyes.
Watch Scott Cawthon be Henry.
That'd be awesome.
Because he's the creator of FNAF and he's the creator of Fresh Prayers now.
Does Scott even have a daughter?
I don't think he does. He has sons, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. It's a bit strange to have 6 sons. That boy has a cheat code. I'm sorry that you know FNAF World is not being cancelled.
You know, it'd be really great if we got some Mrs. Afton lore. If we got Mrs. Afton reveal in the sequel, I will give you my life, Scott Cawthon. I've been waiting for this moment for eons.
I swear there's a bigger one.
I
I
thought
swear this isn't the one.
I thought for sure we had to get a Mrs. Afton reveal in the first movie, but
And then there isn't
I
reverse.
got my hopes up too high for that one.
Another truth. That what makes for a good game doesn't necessarily make for a good book. Sometimes the timeline gets so full that the only way to tell a real story is to have a story set in a different timeline, an alternate universe, a different location, or perhaps from a vantage point that isn't entirely interesting. People like to take that out of context a lot. Sometimes a timeline gets so full that the only way to tell a real story is to have a story set in a different timeline, an alternate universe, a different location, or perhaps a vantage point that isn't entirely what it appears to be. That doesn't say that just because the story is dense that every other
That
piece
would
of
be
media is
sick
another
fandom.
universe. It says specifically, yeah, if I cover any of that stuff, it's not just going to be a repeat of what already happened in the games. Interesting.
I will say, fandoms, under the couch potato, I think it is interesting how if this is the case, if Jane is an Afton, that she's sitting on the couch when Golden Freddy appears to take Abby to the pizzeria. And then who is it? And then Jane is like she tells Mike, always with the temper. It reminds me of you now. It's like Jane used to watch Mike as a child. So if Jane turns out to be an Afton, maybe we could go the route of Jane being William's sister, watching the TV, and Mike going off somewhere, being following either Shadow Freddy or Golden Freddy. Either of that, or if Jane turns out to be like um, William's wife, that'd be wild. Because then that would add more to Mrs. Afton Couch Potato.
But it would also destroy a lot of people's concepts. Don't do it,
It
Scott.
would.
Don't do it.
I think the mound is the most confusing thing. Like, I'm so caught into Mike Runaway and Shadow Footprints or Golden Footprints, but when it comes to the mound is the most confusing thing for me.
Like, when was this? December 18th, 2015. Yeah. And I already went to 2015. What am I missing?
Hey, chat, do you have any theories for what the mound could be? I'd love to hear y'all's ideas.
2016.
No secret lawyer.
I think they all agree with me. Does the post not exist anymore? No, it's December 16th, maybe?
Imagine the mound is literally nothing. It's just a thing of dirt. Yeah, I agree. Unmarked grave or buried stuff. Um, I think it's possible it could be Garrett's grave, but we don't have enough evidence for that. That's the thing. And if you look at how big the mound is, it's massive. I do want to point out something interesting that someone said. Um, when William says, "Oh, he's run off to that place again," apparently the mound was supposed to be a secret place that you weren't really supposed to go to, but Afton goes there. So it's like maybe Mike actually did run off to the mound, you know.
Did Scott just like delete the fucking post? Because I'm looking, I'm not finding
Sure.
it. It specifically says December 18th, 2015 is the book canon debate, and the post is seemingly non existent.
Uh-oh.
Please tell me we're not being fucking manipulated. Please tell me this is not a fake screenshot we've been using for years.
I'm tired of getting manipulated by FNAF.
Like, was it just deleted or something? Did Scott just not want us to know what the canonicity of the books is? Because it specifically says, yeah, December 18, and I'm looking, December 20 to December 17, there's nothing.
Afton says, after looking at the massive size of the mound in Five Laps at Freddy's, I think it's an entrance to the bunker. Yep,
Thing
maybe,
is
maybe.
the bunker already has official entrances because
Yeah.
it's not just an Afton-based location; it's a Fazbear Entertainment location. Otherwise, vent repair and the other people going down wouldn't particularly make sense.
Okay, here's something I thought about, right? So in Didophobia, Rory dies in the vent. So,
Well, that is what a lot of people think. He doesn't die in the story, but we do know a dead
what
body
what
was found.
what specific year did he like leave the chamber? Was it like in the it had to be before the fun times left, right?
It was 10 years after he
Because
was kidnapped, and
yeah.
he was kidnapped during a time. He was not kidnapped from a Freddy's location. He was distinctly kidnapped from somewhere else because he doesn't recognize any of the characters.
So what year did you think Rory was well died or whatever?
He most likely
Or
was
left the
kidnapped
chamber.
before Sister Location took place, or
So
before
that would be
the Fun Times went out to Circus Baby's Pizza World. Considering that he's never seen those animatronics whatsoever, which suggests to me that he was the very first. Well, not the very first. I feel like Michael was probably the very first, but after Michael was the very first experiment victim. And then he went to try and kidnap more by creating the Fun Times, which then would place his thing about 2005, which is a lot earlier than Sister Location, presumably.
that's interesting. So okay, Sister
Or
Location
1995.
2010 question mark?
I'm gonna have to bring this up with Twitter because I feel like I'm being gaslit here.
I'm pretty sure I asked you when Sister Location took place. Wasn't it like mid 2000? No, not mid 2000s. 2010s to like
Mine, I said,
early
depends
2000s.
on when FNAF 3 takes place, because I believe that Sister Location and FNAF 3 take place around the very same time.
Is it because of the cutscene?
Mm-hmm.
See, my interpretation on the cutscene, right? I think I think it can be taken either way, but that's just my opinion. I think you can take it as, oh, this is his promise that he made to his dad that he was gonna burn him, or this is like when it happened.
Scott, I feel like I'm going insane. I keep looking at December and there's nothing here.
I will say I am convinced that Mike is in FNAF 3 because of many reasons, but I can totally see the interpretation of just Hudson. Do you think that Jeremy Fitzgerald is Cassie's dad, or is just VR Jeremy?
I think VR Jeremy is Cassie's dad.
Do you think that he's related to Fitzgerald or the Fitzgerald family? Or?
He could be. I mean, we've already been shown that they sure do like their connections.
I mean, I think it could be Jeremy Fitzgerald, but not Jeremy Fitzgerald. I think it could be his son, Jeremy Fitzgerald Jr.
That's also possible.
Something that I'm trying to piece together is the Jeremy and Fritz guard names, and then you have the missing children named Fritz and Jeremy. Because I think Mike took the name of Fritz Smith, but it's like there's a possibility that it could be their dad.
That's what I believe. Where in the heck?
I mean, maybe in the original story. I mean, I don't know though. I need more like evidence on who these people are though. I have wondered what the original story was before Mike was retconned into being the main guy.
It's such a shame that we don't use wikis the way that they're intended, because I feel like if I scroll down to the bottom, there's not going to be a source for his novel statement.
Yeah, the logbook's placement in universe also, yeah, it does show weird fandoms. Also, I'm getting a phone call, so thank you for having me. Um, I'll talk to you later.
You have a nice night, Sir Cypher.
You too. Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year. Guys, am I going insane? This post does exist, right? I've looked everywhere for it, and I physically cannot find where it is. I feel like I'm at a loss. That is a good theory, fandoms, but that'd be so stupid too, because then that kind of incites that he doesn't care if people use it as I don't know what this man wants with us. Like, I'm posting it on Twitter. I feel like I'm going insane. Insane. We'll post that to Better FNAF Twitter. Hopefully that solves it. References to 3 or 2, but the 3 office appears. I'd argue that it could be existing Freddy's office, given the context of what we found and pressure, but that doesn't count apparently. I would consider the fact that the quote-unquote window is quite literally not a window would be pretty good evidence of that not being the FNAF 3 office, especially considering Jeff's office that we see inside of Into the Pit. You know I have strong feelings about that stupid rotten book. It should have been 1985, but Lord forbid. Lord forbid. No, I think it's supposed to take place during, or, sorry, I think the book was made from FNAF 1, but Mike doesn't fill it out until post scoop. But I think, since our little game of searching is completely endless and I'm not finding exactly Scott's post, I think we're lost. And now it's been 2 hours. 2 hours today. Ain't that awesome? But I tried to bring it up and people say it wasn't established yet. It's dumb. That's a silly thing to say because last I checked, a lot of stuff within inside of the series wasn't established. Because right there, that immediately debunks bite victim receiver. Because after all, bite victim wasn't established. There's no grounds. It also contradicts exactly what we see in whatever Give Gifts, Give Life is, or whatever the FNAF 3 minigames are, because they are distinctly Bite Victim's memories as of FNAF 4. So, are we just pretending that that didn't happen? Because I'm pretty positive Scott said specifically that there were no Easter eggs in FNAF 4. Listen, clearly it's been a year and we haven't even finished this series, so clearly it's going to be a whole nother year before we solve anything. I'm hoping everything on that bingo card except for Will Care becomes true. But clearly we're going to have very long conversations about a lot of this stuff. Happy New Year. I know that we're going to be having a few overanalyzation streams, or T-Dreads is going to have a few overanalyzation streams soon, so you guys should be checking that out. Also, there is a live stream in a few days, or a day, I'd have to check, in which he's going to have on a bunch of awesome people, and they're going to all have a continuity debates with ID's Fantasy and Underscore and Ride Host and all kinds of people. So you guys should check that out too. Because T-Dreads is just doing cooler stuff than I am. Some Mike's later establishment. Yeah, I'm 90% sure that Tales Games is canon. I'm 70% certain Stitchline Games is canon. Simply because Stitchline is kind of hit or miss, and Tales only Scott knows. This is true. Frights reboot, anyone?
Dude, I think my mic's been broken for the last hour, hasn't it?
Have you been talking this entire hour?
This entire time.
Oh no.
Oh, Shrek.
That's so fucked.
I was gonna say you should tell them you'll be on the one later this week with Hyperdroid.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty awesome. Yeah. Bro,
well, my bad, chat. I've been talking for the last 2 hours.
That's so sad. That's what the fuck, dude. I'm sitting here like, man, T-Dreads must be up to something else. He kind of just left. Now you're just sitting here talking the entire time.
No, yeah, I've been here the whole time.
You didn't did you say anything that made us ignore you or something?
I was talking about how Will Care was the greatest theory ever for weirdos, and I thought you would laugh, but you didn't.
Okay. You gotta find that sign. You gotta be like, wait a minute. Now, that was a pretty funny joke. Now, come on, Jizu.
Yeah.
Something must be wrong.
Well, I checked because you weren't responding for 2 hours. I was like, maybe he's reading chat, so I checked, and it was I was like, it would appear that I am quiet.
What a shame. What a shame.
Yeah. Okay, then let me tell you though, this Freddy background is absolutely cooking with gas.
I'm sure it is.
Dude, it's only 10 seconds. I'll send you it. It's fucking fire.
India Scott is redoing fights with the Mega Cat games. Slightly. I think it also includes Return to the Pit, because Return to the Pit is also a recreation. But we're really under Into the Pit loop now, because otherwise shit doesn't make sense. Otherwise, we're going to have a real long conversation with Scott Cawthon about releasing the same fucking story 3 times. What do you think? What's the retcon? We established yesterday as a group, or at least within this small group of theorists, that the retcon was the conviction of William Afton.
Hey, don't be so humble. This is the only group that matters.
True enough. Return to the Pit, more like return to the shit. Come on. And Froxy, I thought my Discord was set up to ping when I'm live. Apparently it's not. Oh, but it says when Grimstone is live. I'm gonna fight that boy. Oh, it's because Vencord is only for Twitch, not for YouTube. That's why. Because YouTube streaming is some sort of unforsaken, ungodly kind of concept. I think Into the Pit game is game continuity as well. I think so is Return to the Pit. I think they're all in continuity. Because otherwise, I'm going to have to lose my shit. Because I'm sorry to tell you guys. Listen, I'm one of the people that from the very beginning was like, Into the Pit game, it's a video game, so it's got to be canon, right guys? But the thing is that Return to the Pit exists within a series of already established canon things. So, I don't know which one I would consider to be more canon in the interpretation that they're not all canon. Because looking at the table right now, we got 2 stories that tell the same exact story basically with one slight difference that Oswald learns like the names of the MCI, I think. And then Into the Pit game, which goes against both Return to the Pit and Into the Pit. I don't think we're ever going to find the retcon, to be honest. It's something that went unnoticed. Yeah, that's the point. That's why we established that it was just the conviction of William Afton. Because even if maybe we're wrong, but if we are wrong, I don't think it matters. Because at the end of the day, the retcon is supposed to be seamless. We're not supposed to know what it is. We just want to write it off.
I'm rendering this. It's gas. Anyway, the retcon, it's something directly stated. For years, I thought it could be something like, that we thought, but I like, if it's a retcon, he said it happened, so.
Yeah. Can't be Dream Theory.
He's only ever confirmed like 3 things.
We agree. It is not Dream Theory. We had this discussion. It is not Dream Theory.
It couldn't be Dream Theory because he never said that happened. It has to be something he said. Yes, guys, this occurred.
We'll have to ask Matthew eventually when we get him into the Discord. We'll have to ask him, of course.
Dude, the second podcast will be there. I only going up from here.
Secret ending is just ass without loop or him being stuck in the pit after it. I think the very concept of return to the pit falls apart when the fact that Oswald hasn't been to the pit in the very beginning of the story. Dream Theory was likely never true. You would be right. But it was a very heavily believed theory. Which is good because I kind of hated the theory back in 2016. I loved the theory back in 2016. Hello, chat. I am engaging with you for algorithmic purposes.
Being a nice guy. Dude, I feel so bad that I've been talking for 2 hours and you've just been alone.
That's so awesome. It's just in here like, who the fuck does this Shizue guy think he is? Come on.
Ghosting my ass. I was like, don't you think it's weird that you just didn't say anything? And I was like,
Are you talking about getting MatPat into your FNAF Discord? And I don't think MatPat's ever going to join Better
I don't think
FNAF
he even
Discord.
has a Discord.
Let's go see. I know Tom has a Discord. I know that the other
We
game
should get
theories.
Tom.
Let's go see. Because they're on here. They might be offline since they're like, I mean, it is midnight here in our beautiful country.
It's 3 a.m. where I am, but I got to get this done for tomorrow because I'm releasing a fucking Midnight Motorist video. Oh my god, this background is so optimal. I'm a fucking wizard.
No shot. Blackfoot Ferret is at the top of Theorists. That's... Oh. I don't think they're online. Ascended Theorists, bots, official soundtrack, official writers, expert memers, approved theorizers, mods. Yeah, I don't think they're online.
Yeah, does they have their own server? Tom does?
No, they're all in the game theory server.
Hmm.
I see. Because I know. Pending friend requests.
Dude, I'm surprised I got away with getting this many people on my stream.
Maybe I didn't find Tom. We got Scott Cawthon, John FNAF.
Because I wasn't even formal with it. I literally went to Rye Toast, sent the gif of Skipper from Penguins of Madagascar pointing at him, and demanded he come on my podcast.
You come on my podcast.
I think I sent you the same thing.
You did
It works. It works. People just think it's funny.
Send
though.
me a friend request. You know, you have a point.
You there? Come on my live stream.
I find it kind of strange that even though he said to not use the books for lore, he decided to change the puppet kid's gender to match Charlie instead of just making it Henry's other kid. 'Tis strange, ain't it? 'Tis strange. Scott is a strange one.
Oh,
What
no,
do
who is it now?
You
Oh,
feel
bitch.
about... What do you feel about the book canon page no longer existing?
The book canon.
Talking to
page.
me?
December 18th, 2015, the Is the Book Canon page is gone. I went and checked Scott's Steam pages and I could not find it.
Well, it's probably just because of the drama.
Man.
Damage
Could it also
control.
just be gone
So-
because it's an old post?
I went back to 2016. It says December 20th and December 17th. There's nothing in between. No December 18th post. And it's making me upset.
Right.
It's making me question whether or not. Please tell me this shit's not fake. I'm going to have such a big crash out if we've believed something to be canon and find out, nah, it was made up. Because surely it's
That
real.
wasn't a fake guy, was it?
Surely it's real, right? Guys, we've
Wait,
been using it.
Which book series would we be talking
MatPat
about?
put that in like 8 videos.
The Silver Eyes one.
The Silver Eyes. Oh yeah, no, that's real.
Because I'm sitting here being like, why else would it not exist unless A, Scott took it down, or B, it never existed in the first place?
He definitely made that post.
I was going insane. there for a
Unless we've
second.
all been fooled and into believing
See,
something
that's
that was never
what
real to
that's
begin
what
with.
I'm saying. Please tell me this is not a Talbot file situation. Please tell me people did not just fucking force this into the canon.
Hey man, Talbot Files was real. Believe it.
Because then that makes me sit there and wonder, Scott, what if this post never existed? What did Scott want us to do with the books? I'm gonna lose my mind. The Silver Eyes is canon. You're going.
The games.
I would cry. I would cry. That I don't even know what the hell we're supposed to do at that point. A golden version of Freddy, this driver has a strong sense of justice. What are you talking about? We're so
Golden
cooked
version
when-
of Freddy. This driver's
Oh.
very vengeful.
We are so cooked when Golden Freddy's added to 5 laps of Freddy's. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if they use the word vengeful? I think that's the end. I think it's over.
That would be pretty bad.
I mean, to be fair, I think like Ralph refers to Foxy as a vengeful spirit, but that is not a can of worms we want to open.
That would be hilarious, actually.
Oh, so that's why Foxy shows up. No, even if you have him deactivated.
People keep bringing up in my comments, or not a lot of people, but some people brought up in my comments how like the quote from the movie novel connects Golden Freddy with the vengeful spirit, which I can definitely see that. But like it's not the gotcha moment you think it is.
Mm-mm.
I don't think the bait is like. There's people that think it's like they're always like it's 100% Cassidy or it's 100% Andrew. I don't think it's that like easy. I think
What
there's
if it's both of them at
They
the
both
same
got
time?
arguments.
I
The
think
duo
it's,
you shouldn't have killed.
I think it's. I don't remember what a specific thing is, but it's like the medium of the crowd or something is always right. As long as no one's like physically manipulating the audience, whatever the audience together agrees upon is usually what ends up being correct. And since half people believe it's Cassidy, half people believe it's Andrew, maybe it's both. Fredbear
Is
plush.
it really split like 50-50? I feel like the majority of the fandom still believes it's Cassidy.
I
Or
don't
maybe that's
know
just
I think
anymore.
so too.
I don't know anymore. The thing is that there's a lot of silent people in the community. There are people that just don't interact with creators and stuff. They just watch their things and move on.
That was me until a couple years ago.
Can you imagine moving on? Just being like, oh, that's cool. Guess Cassidy's the one you should not have killed, and I won't look any further into this. But why? Because it's a video game.
I was one of those guys that listened to Matt Pat and thought, oh, okay, cool.
You know, he's smarter than me, that's all. Not gonna lie.
Until I actually started paying attention to the lore.
No shot, Afton. After 14 Theory, you think Andrew possesses Golden Freddy? 14
What
Theory is
have I
doing
done?
14 Theory is doing some damage. Golden
It's
Andrew.
not my fault that it's the truth.
Golden Andrew is back on the table. Oh no.
Hey man, I didn't slant the 14 in that locker. That wasn't me.
Scott Cawthon, you
Somebody
did this
had
to
to.
yourself.
I've gotten some people bringing up 14 Theory in my comments.
Oh, it's just speak. now no one can ever make the one
arbiter
you
of
should not
Golden
have killed. Oh my
you
god.
get comments about 14 Theory?
On my UCN video that I uploaded a few days ago, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucking.
Because you uploaded it like right around the same exact time. I know, because I watched my video and I was like, oh my god, you released this like literally seconds. They were very close. Very close. I remember watching MatPat's Ultimate
That
Timeline and saying, whoa, this makes sense.
My video was like delayed 3 times, and it was originally
Yeah, my
meant to come out like, a
computer
couple weeks
lagged.
ago. But then Return to the Pit came out, and I'm like, what the fuck? I don't even want to release this anymore.
Sticky says it's deleted. Do you think I should trust Stick? Lord knows he has a reputation. I'm sorry, Stick. I was mean to you. I made an entire video yelling at you. That was not nice. After hearing about 14 Theory, I started coping hard.
Dude, it's so funny that we keep finding all that stupid shit in the games.
Listen, you don't even know. You do realize there's a part 2 coming out. Guys, I need you to know. There's a part 2 to 14 Theory.
The lockers in Hub Wanted 1 are yellow.
Holy shit.
Please.
Let's count how many lockers there are.
Unless I'm full of it, I saw it somewhere. I'm pretty sure they're yellow, at least in FNAF 1.
I think they're yellow in both of them. Watch there be 4 in FNAF 1 and then 10 in FNAF 2. 14 yellow lockers. What did he mean by this?
The 14 tally marks on the logbook are tripping me up.
Right? It's right on top of her, too.
Yeah, I love that everybody found. That was
That
about
is.
for the most like insane 1430.
That is such a shame. Only like 8% of the fandom believe it's Andrew. We are. Oh no.
Every time I look at like a YouTube community vote where it's like, oh, who's the vengeful spirit? It's always like majority of the people are Cassidy.
Hmm. Golden Freddy being the vengeful spirit was on ironically game theory's like second most popular theory.
Really, the pronoun should be enough to debunk it, but no.
All right, check out this optimized background. This shit's fire.
You're gonna be the nail in the coffin for Andrew believers like myself. To be honest, the only reason I even remembered Andrew existed was because of Ruin.
I have 8 gigs of RAM.
What? Hmm.
Dude, that shit took me like an
What?
hour in After Effects. It's embarrassing.
I remember being adamantly against Stitchline being in the games.
Oh, I was too. I hate books.
Like, I believe Tails was in the games ever since it was first announced, and I'm thinking, they both can't be canon at the same time, right? That completely fucks up the timeline, because you've got one that says it's years after FNAF 6, and then another one implies, like, no, actually, the Pizza Plex was opened, like, a year or so later. Like, what do you mean?
The Andrew situation is insane. It certainly is.
Like a Moist Critical video.
We should fucking do that at some point.
Oh, dude, that background looks so fucking good.
So we were just talking about Andrew, and then we found out that Andrew just got canceled. It's insane. A lot of people
Hey,
are
guys.
saying
This is worse than Men in Black, the animated series. This is even worse than the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies.
Andrew isn't in Return to the Pit. It's over, guys.
Andrew Garfield.
It's over.
Golden Andrew True losing 50-20 mode made the Andrew want a new identity. Oh shit, Andrew transformed into Cassidy? Holy shit. New theory? Trans Cassidy?
That's optimal.
Trans Cassidy? Are you telling me Cassidy decided to switch? That's why. Oh, it all makes
Scott
sense.
would definitely write that. Have you seen V7? Have you seen V7?
Source, trust me, bro. That's a good source.
Is V7 in continuity with the games? That's the real question. Did that kid actually exist?
That's a good question.
Billy. Dude, I was listening to Ozone's audiobook of that, and I was so uncomfortable. Remember, I was like sleeping over my girlfriend at the time's house, and it was like 3 in the morning, and I was just sitting there awake because I was so uncomfortable because I was listening to that audiobook, and I just could not sleep.
Shit, Wayback Machine confirms it was deleted. It did exist.
Uh-oh.
Why did he delete it? That's fucking with me.
Maybe he changed his mind and
Just
decided
like-
that
I
the
mean-
books were
I
canon.
mean, guys, you know,
Hey.
after I made Sister Location, I've decided books are just canon, bro.
He did use the novels as a basis for future games.
Because it is really funny how he's gonna sit here and be like, guys, do not use the novels to fill in the blanks. Oh, by the way, here's Henry Emily and Charlotte Emily from the book.
I should bring this up with that one person that brought up how like, oh, we shouldn't be using like the novel trilogy to solve the games, blah 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 blah. And I'd be like, actually Scott deleted that post, so what do you have to say about that now?
I wanted to talk about this a little bit to put everyone's mind at ease. I've gotten a lot of emails, even angry ones, complaining that the book doesn't match up one or more with the games. Even some of the reviews on Amazon chastised the book for not matching the games. Something I should have explained very early on is a book is not intended to solve anything. It is not intended to be a guide for the games or to fill in the gaps. Now we'll highlight that one, and then we'll come over here, and then we'll go scroll. No, I gotta find it. Reddit.
It's not intended to be. It's not intended to help understand the games. Fourth Closet comes out and elaborates on Molten MCI.
And then we click on this, and then we say, what was the thing again? Books. So, just a note about the story. So let me say this. So let me say this: the future games will look forward, but look to the novels. Look to the novels to fill in the blanks to the past. Scott, those are two very conflicting ideas right there. Should not be used to fill in the gaps. Fill in some blanks to the past. Maybe
Yeah, he's always been a little bit of a nutcase when it comes to wording.
maybe he did change his mind. Maybe he did decide that the book should be used.
Well, because I don't think that applies to Mimic Line. I think Mimic Line might as well be in the games because it's basically 1-to-1 from what we know.
That is true. He specifically stated that this was only about frights. Future games will look forward, but look to the novels to fill in some blanks to the past. I don't know what that man is a weird person.
Last to the past, Samurai Jack.
You also got to be sure to bring up the reply he made to that one guy asking if it was about Fazbear Frights he was talking about.
I don't remember where it is, but I know it's here somewhere. To answer your question, yes, I'm referring to the new Fazbear Fright series. Ain't that interesting? Because the way that I'm sort of feeling it right now is, I'm kind of wondering if we can just layer the timelines on top of each other. Because that's kind of what I'm tempted to do. That games are at the very top, and then layering each other piece of media underneath it to fill in all the gaps. Would that be insane? Perhaps.
It's actually crazy how easy it is to understand this franchise when you actually take into consideration all of the media it's released. Just focusing on the games, you're not going to get anywhere.
Molten MCI, Lefty DCI, Scrap Trap Andrew. That's already canon. Under any interpretation that Andrew is canon, he has to be inside of William from the moment he was spring locked.
Wait, Glitch, you can help me. I'm about to send you 3 things. You gotta tell me which one of these is the best.
Okay.
Alright. I'm gonna do a thumbnail test anyway. But let me know. Also, they're compressed as fuck because I sent them over Discord from my phone, but they look better on my phone, trust. The video is overanalyzing every FNAF game is the title, basically.
Mm-hmm. I like the second one.
The one with Freddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, the colors are really nice in the background.
Yeah.
It's easy to look at. I feel like the first one will jump out at you more when you're like scrolling, but the Freddy
yeah.
one, yeah, the Freddy one is nice to look at. So
You gave him the same test as the rest of us.
yeah. Well, no, I made a different version of the Golden Freddy one because the first one sucked ass. And I sent it to you and it got desaturated as hell. I hate my phone so much. My phone just sucks all the color out of images when I upload them to Discord.
This is the thumbnail that I made. Let's see. I can't even undo it. The image has already been rendered. What a shame.
Are you talking about the Golden Freddy one?
Yeah, I can't undo it. I can't go back. Dude, you gotta get your hands on the full, like, models.
God, I'm scared to find. I'm
I
scared
have
to see
a-
what Game
I
Theory
have
has
the
to
I
say
have
about
the
Return to the Pit.
that Golden Freddy render I did for the new one. I got from the FNAF assets wiki, but it's just fucking. You scale it up too far, it still gets fucked. You know.
Yeah.
But then again, it's I sent that over fucking Discord, so it's a little it'll look a little better in on actual YouTube. It's a little compressed because of the screenshot shenanigans. Should look okay.
This is beautiful. I've never seen a more beautiful image in my life.
You looking at the My Name Is?
I'm looking at this funny ass render of Golden Freddy. I don't know why the fuck this exists.
Oh.
And let's give him some Google eyes.
Dude, the
No.
FNAF 4 thumbnail I made was gas though. With Nightmare Fredbear, that shit was heat.
He looks so silly.
I like the thumbnail
Why
I made for my
so
UCN video.
serious?
I don't look at that thumbnail and think that looks ass.
When are we going to Playtime Co? We're going to Playtime Co when I eventually solve Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, I like that one. I see Green Guy Truth.
Green guy. Somehow Green Afton returned.
40 minutes, holy bro, is cooking.
Oh yeah, it's a long one. It's a fucking long one. It's the longest one I've made.
It's okay, I'll get there someday. My longest video is half an hour, I think. I think it's the Fredbear plush video I did. It's fucking 4 years long.
I think before that, my longest one was maybe 28, 25 minutes. I probably think 28 minutes.
Yes, 14, 20.
Yeah, I'm looking at it
It's-
right now. The one with Golden Freddy, the new one, is going to get more clicks, but the one that's got Freddy on it actually looks better.
Yeah.
But the Golden Freddy, there's colors, and so people are going to click it.
You've got to pick the one that you've got to pick the one that would get you the most clicks.
Well, I'm gonna do the thumbnail test. So, but I already
right.
know. I already know because the colors are just brighter in the Golden Freddy. That's literally all that matters.
I should probably do the thumbnail test one day.
Yeah, I get good results for it sometimes. I got so mad because I did one like a Fredbear plush video thumbnail that I spent like 2 hours making this beautiful art in Photoshop, and then for the other thumbnail, I literally just put the Fredbear plush on a black background, like the asset from the game. Just ripped the PNG, the 4 pixels, put it on a black background, and wrote, "Who is he?" And that one got like 30% higher click-through rate than
So
my
nuts,
fucking
so
art
nuts.
masterpiece.
Anyway, my second most successful video, 33 minutes. Longest FNAF theory I think I ever made.
Holy moly. That is pretty long.
41,000 views. I remember when I was making 41,000 views.
It's okay, you'll get there someday, dude.
And this video, I think, includes Wheelcare. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even remember what this video includes.
Oh boy.
Shit, that was some pretty, for lazy ass me. That's some editing.
Dude, I'm gonna turn this huge debate I'm doing tomorrow into a stream highlights, and I'm gonna shill all them in the description. Those tags are about to be Rytoast, ID's Fantasy, Gibby's Horror Homestead.
He just wants this all to end. I gotta hear if I said Cassidy the one you should not
And
have killed.
so
Of course I
he
did.
sets the place on fire, burning everybody inside.
Oh, you
and
would have
that
heard
is the
that
end
in my
of Five Nights at
my
Freddy's.
original Rebel.
Or it would be. Unfortunately, the person inside of Fredbear, the one you should not have killed, ends up holding on to
Why did I say it like that? Oh, I suppose I did refer to Golden Freddy as Fredbear back then, didn't I? Denying the toys are possessed is one of the dumbest widespread beliefs in the fandom. Hey, I was part of that little train. Don't. Are you calling me dumb, fandoms?
Wait, do you guys know dual process theory?
Of course I do.
Yeah.
They hit me up drunk today, sending me like 80 memes about Lefty DCI.
Perfect.
It was hilarious.
Imagine if Lefty DCI was actually true, though.
Imagine if
That'd be
That
wild.
theory is right up their alley.
actually True.
Cryonite actually believes it.
Oh shit.
I just think it's like fun. Like it'd be a good headcanon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I don't actually. It's like I think Molten MCI has more evidence than Lefty DCI does.
Yeah, Lefty DCI kind of falls apart when you listen to what Henry has to say about the souls being trapped in Molten Freddy.
Yeah.
He
Also-
literally he thinks it's like a vile thing. Why would he do the same with the DCI?
It's a great question.
Although
I mean, I guess the only answer to that would be that Henry's fucking mental.
I do find
Henry's
the
just a
Fast 2 parts
hypocrite.
being there is fairly strange. Not Lefty DCI wise, but it does suggest the DCI were at FFPS. Probably just shoved in a box somewhere. Can you imagine that's how you die? Shoved in a box.
That's what was in the FNAF 4 box. The DCI games.
Perfect. Perfect.
They were shoved into the ball pit.
Honestly? Seems legit. Then Jake
Dude, I
was
There
can't
is
the
a
one
ball
to
pit
play.
in FFPS.
I can't wait till we type in a secret code to open a secret door that leads us down a hallway, and then we get into the basement, and then we climb up, and we're in Fredbear's Family Diner in Secret of the Mimic. That's about to be
God.
so baller.
I really hope the second movie has the DCI in it to some form.
So what's the assumption now? Just that I'm pretty sure the comic says that William was trying to get them to possess something but failed, so those kids just straight up died. That's what I've heard.
I don't
But-
know.
Those kids don't
I
actually
gotta-
possess anything.
I got a bunch of comments on my newest toy animatronic video where I talked about how they're possessed by the DCI, where people just outright denied the DCI even happening.
I think Scott shot himself in the foot by making Mingle walk. If she was frozen still, no one would even have this argument.
I crashed.
I thought you left because of what I was saying.
Toys DCI, ew.
No, but like I got a bunch of comments saying shit like, there's no evidence that a second set of murders happened. I'm like, what are you talking about? You literally see it happen in front of you.
Oh boy, are we going back to MCI 87? These motherfuckers. Oh no.
The date for the MCI has been given. The year for the MCI has been 1983.
1983, whoa. We're getting back into that area.
Has been said like 4 or 5 times now, but no. It's not 85. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Dude, MCI 83 is only a thing because of FNAF 4.
Yeah,
Where if you look in the back suit, there's a kid.
Fandoms is totally right. The biggest problem, and trust me, I 100% believe the DCI possessed the toy animatronics. But I will agree, the moment that Scott decided to change it from the shells to the endoskeletons kind of makes you wonder what happened to their endoskeletons. Because I feel like the whole point of the
They were
box sitting
scrapped.
there, The whole point
They're
of
in
the box
security
was,
breach,
yeah, they're why are they in security breach? It's actually pretty straightforward. Henry just bought the box after the events of FNAF 3, threw it in FFPS. Which then would add more evidence to Happiest Day being in FNAF 6. Aren't I nerd?
I mean, if the movie just says that they're haunted by parts from the MCI, then like that's just probably what it is in the games.
I'm a true believer that either no, because I figured the whole point of the withered animatronics is that it will be the normal animatronics, just for some reason retrofitted, which is stupid as shit, but whatever. I believe the toy animatronics are going to be possessed by the construction crew.
Perhaps.
That'd be crazy.
It's also why I think the FNAF 2 location is going to be abandoned to begin with, because you can't really do a DCI with a new location.
Because William's
Afton
already dead.
Currently, you know, he's currently locked in a room in a Springlock suit. You know,
Becomes
Guys, I am gonna head to bed. It's almost 4 a.m. for me.
alrighty.
understandable.
I love you guys. Mwah and mwah.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, you do.
See you later.
Bye. MCI 1987 is actually canon in the movie. This is true, but shut up. I remember apparently the puppet will control the toys, but I don't remember the context of that. I feel like if anyone's going to control the toys, it would have to be William. Well, and the construction crew. If I were a betting man, I think he's going to be controlling the toys. The toys will end up being controlled by the construction crew, who will take control over the toys and attack Afton. There you go. You're welcome, guys. Because it's going to be just like how FNAF 2's whole shtick was that it had security database issues, that the facial scanners were messing up. So I feel like it's going to be a mix of AI and the possession of the construction crew. They both possess the same thing. And it's going to be just like the Funtime animatronics, where the AI will overpower the soul. And then they manage to get past it. And then they kill Afton again. Yeah, the wrecking
And then
crew.
he comes back.
It comes back again. I hope they bring it up in the movie where Mike just sits there and is like, no, before you even say shit, why did you say I always come back the first time? I don't understand. Were you killed before?
They wanted to add in his line.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine the movie got meta like that? It's just what I say. Come on,
That's
man.
that's my catchphrase.
Those guys, the animatronics killed and stuffed into suits. That's a cool idea, though. I think Max and Hank definitely possess Sparky and Shadow Freddy. See, I don't see Sparky reappearing in FNAF 2. That's the thing.
It is interesting that the Golden Freddy spirit in the movie does seem to be more aware of who Spring Bonnie actually is.
Just like Cassidy. I think. Maybe.
It's weird. My personal headcanon that I've made at the moment is that Cassidy was under his influence, just like all the other spirits,
Mhm.
until he used Golden Freddy for the DCI. And at that moment, she just remembered what he did to her. I think that'd be pretty cool if that was true. If Scott were to utilize the him using Golden Freddy in the narrative, that would be a great way to do it.
They make a
It'd be
FNAF
like a moment of
what is the
recognition.
explanation for a nightmare. Well, you won't believe this, and this is a bit chilly, but originally FNAF was intended to be a trilogy, so chances are we'll just end up going the direction of whatever Scott wanted the original games after the original trilogy to be. Because I figure FNAF 4 didn't just pop out of thin air. He did originally have a concept of what it was supposed to be. It just most likely wasn't supposed to be connected to the MCI and Afton. I think the guy who uses the Golden Freddy suit in FNAF 2 is probably Henry. I tried to say that, but people don't like it. So, unfortunately, that's something you're gonna have to argue with everyone else. Though it does make me wonder. It does make me wonder. I have a feeling that the whole point of the FNAF 2 movie is it'll be a mixture of the Twisted Ones and the FNAF 2 game. We'll get a lot of cutscenes going back to Vanessa and the MCI. Potentially seeing William don the Purple Man costume.
The hoax Purple Man costume appears in the movie.
That's on the bingo card. I'm just wondering if Scott would be silly enough to make him be like, I am the Purple Man. I think people would just get up and leave the theater. It is interesting, though. It is interesting, though. What would it? I don't know. Because I'm wondering, if it is the construction crew who goes on to possess the toys, how will people interpret that? Will it mean that the DCI exist? Will it mean no? I don't know.
It wouldn't really be the DCI anymore.
Be the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah. I feel like the Rick Before implies that the kids, or not, maybe they were just teenagers for FNAF 2, died purely because they just broke in one day, and William was just there. He's like,
Well.
"You're all gonna die now."
You guys chose the wrong place to rob today. It would actually work perfectly because then it would line up 1-to-1. People who broke in, people who broke in. Just one is a set of teenagers, the other is a set of adults. It would definitely add credence to DCI being the toy animatronics. If I were to bet, if I were a betting man, maybe they're going to go after Mike because they do have the facial scanner fucked up. But then, potentially, someone will, maybe they see Springtrap or something that makes the construction crew realize, no, that's the guy we're going after. Come on, guys. Do they use Golden Freddy as a spare suit that's arguably even supported by there being drawings of Golden Freddy in the FNAF 2 location? Because he still needs to be... I feel like the Markiplier appearance I did not put on the bingo card because he said he has not been contacted yet. So it's not on the bingo card. What's up, Ender? But then it asks the question of what's going to go on in 3. Because if we're talking the fourth closet mixed with FNAF 3, then we gotta know who our Elizabeth is. Are we going to get to see Vanny in FNAF 3, you think? Can you fucking imagine?
Oh, man.
Vanny. That'll make everyone happy.
Do you think FNAF 3 in the movie is gonna have a big time jump?
I think it's natural. I think the FNAF 2 movie will take place 2 years later. It's like 2002. I feel like the FNAF 3 movie will probably take place in like 2004 or something.
It'd be interesting that in FNAF 3, the main protagonist is just a grown-up Abby.
That's what I predict. I think she's going to be the fright guard. I think I already got confirmation from someone that works on the movie that they're planning on having a teenage Abby at some point.
I don't really know how they would do a Molten MCI thing for the third movie. I could see it happening, but I just don't know how they would do it.
There's no fire in FNAF 2, so then how would they become an amalgam? That is a good question.
I mean, if they are going to be doing more movies, definitely going to happen at some point. Maybe.
I don't know.
How would a sister location movie even work?
Because we don't have a Mike Afton. We don't have a sister to go down there. We don't have an observation chamber, to our knowledge. I mean, the books did have observation chambers, but
Do you reckon it's possible William used Garrett and he just threw him into an experiment? Or do you think he just kidnapped him and just straight up killed him?
I'm not sure. I mean, it is suggested he is shattered. At least that's my interpretation. I mean, the very fact that he is connected to the MCI, he shows up in the novel at Freddy's despite not having a body, and then supposedly his memories are tied to the MCI enough where Abby can view them. It kind of suggests to me that he's shattered, but I'm not sure how he got shattered. That's the question.
I really hope we were like some form of shadow victim for the movies.
Bro, has the police coming after him?
Oh yeah, apparently.
Damn, new year, new going to jail.
Really is a new year, new me.
Could Mike be going down there for Garrett? I don't know about that one. He is kinda dead.
Yeah, the movie novel already to me tells me that he is not the puppet.
Yeah. And I mean, like, it's not like Garrett showing up in the novel was a robot Garrett. It would very much be his actual soul. So, our buddy isn't alive anymore. See, fandoms, this is making me have a little bit of a identity crisis there for a second. Why did the Into the Pit team think Vanny helped kill the MCI?
I don't fucking even know why they even were planning on having it to be a minigame.
I am so confused on what they were trying to imply. Were they trying to imply that in at least one of these timelines, Vanny was used to stuff the MCI? Because I'm a little confused on what the fuck's going on. What timeline is that supposed to be in reference to?
You see, that's why it was scrapped. Because it makes no fucking sense.
They just made that shit up themselves, just like Illuminix with Fazbacks. And they're just like, nah. Can you imagine being Scott Cawthon just looking at your game being like, oh yeah, everything here is... What the fuck is this? Oh, Mr. Cawthon, that's the part where Vanessa stuffs the bodies. Isn't that in the games? I think... No! No, it is not. What?
Part of me wonders if an idea behind that was because I want to try and make it apparent that Vanessa is an Afton in the games.
She should be, yeah.
But then, like, Scott realized this shit makes no fucking sense. They're going to interpret it wrong.
See, because that's the same thing, Ender. There is no timeline in which Vanessa was an adult during the fucking MCI. None.
I don't.
So
it's also one of the things that trips me up, because I bring up how yes, Scott had involvement with the Into the Pit game, like he obviously did, but it wasn't very much, considering like he'd check in with them every 6 to 8 months. So for all we know, that sixth kid in Into the Pit was never really meant to be connected with the MCI.
my hang drew is not hanging. A digital copy of Afton. Huh.
What the fuck is up with that? What the fuck is up with Andrew now?
I don't know what that boy's doing. He, for some reason, just doesn't like being canon. He uncanonizes himself.
He's so forgotten to the point that even the plot forgot he existed.
Can you imagine? Scott's just sitting there like, guys, I'm gonna be dead ass. Andrew was not
Andrew?
supposed to exist. Guys, I'm gonna be dead ass. Andrew's just a character from the epilogues. I did not plan on having any higher. God.
Guys, I accidentally wrote an entire character for the Vengeful Spirit.
I was just trying to be edgy, guys. Come on. This. Good night, Froxy.
Legit though, if Andrew isn't supposed to be the Vengeful Spirit in the games, that would actually make me angry.
Let's introduce this character. His name is Andrew. He's the Vengeful Spirit. Or at least, that's what we tell everybody. In reality, he's a nobody.
You know, it would piss me off because basically, Frights and Scott just lied. Said, oh, wait, you thought this character that's specifically designed to fit into this role in the games is actually this character?
You're so silly.
Actually, no, you're wrong.
You're a parallel.
Stupid, it was Golden Freddy.
It was a parallel, come on. No, but if Parallels is ever confirmed, I'm going to look Scott in the eyes and ask him, who's the third soul in Golden Freddy? Last I checked, Stitch Wraith has 3 souls, not 2. Who's the third soul?
Eleanor's also in there.
4 souls, Mr. Cawthon, please. You'll probably say
What if the idea of the Stitch Wraith paralleling Golden Freddy in that way was to show that Andrew and Cassidy are opposite characters?
I can see it.
How the two interact with the soul that they're sharing the vessel with is very, very different. Cassidy actually wants to help out the crying child, where Andrew is just like, what the fuck? Fuck you! Fuck you! No, I'm not helping you. Do it yourself.
I'm going to be dead honest with you, fandoms. I genuinely think the GGY Easter egg in the arcade is the only thing that physically should have never existed.
No, Gregory just time traveled.
Because everything...
He fucking went into the pit.
Novels fiction is perfectly valid, and I'm tired of... Andrew would parallel the Crying Child, which implies Crying Child's the Vengeful Spirit, right? Are we saying that Crying Child, the one who was not killed by Afton, is the Vengeful Spirit?
Ignoring the them having to have been killed by Afton, that would actually be really cool.
Oh no, it perfectly fits. I've already gone over this. How, if you look at all of the cutscenes within UCN, they're all seemingly connected to Bite Victim, or at the very least, Bear of Vengeance is specifically about a character who, I know people argue about it, but it is very much a sibling relationship. It's not like William Afton torturing somebody. It is quite literally, oh, you're going to do my laundry, you're going to cook breakfast for me, you're going to carry around this thing all day. It's not really internal punishment forever and damnation. It's just mundane bullshit.
I view it as it's Cassidy and Afton's relationship, where every time Cassidy tries to throw for Afton and seek her justice, something goes wrong, and it's used as a mockery against her.
Oh shit! I broke this. That's not good.
Oh yes, see, if I lead him into Spring Bonnie, he would actually die. Lol, actually, he actually lives, and now you're trapped on the ground.
Like some children role playing. See, I do think that William is the one who quote unquote shattered Bite Victim, but I don't think that's considered killing him. I think that's just tearing his soul apart. You see, a player could be someone besides Afton. Don't get insane in here, okay? Let's calm ourselves.
What are you reading right now?
The chat.
What chat?
Vanessa MCI. Actually, now that I'm thinking about the Mega Cat, definitely happened to believe William was Glitch Trap.
Oh, I see. I didn't realize you were live right now.
You're not the only one. Sir Cypher also joined and got confused. At least you didn't reveal your real address and name. Although we did reveal that you were about to get arrested. Now that I'm thinking, maybe Megacat did. Who knows? All I'm saying is that I will always forever glaze the concept of Into the Pit game being an actual video game, especially when Return to the Pit went and doubled down by giving us a video game that's basically that. They were a little silly for doing that.
How are we going, chat, anyway?
I think Charlotte shattered the crying child to help the MCI, but in doing so trapped the MCI in the suits where they later be manipulated by their killer to kill more people. I would need that broken down for me. So we see her actively try to kill Afton, which goes against the vengeful spirit, but apparently Cassidy just changed her mind and wants to keep him alive. You guys are full of ideas. Edwin being the one that
Actually,
was
I've spent my entire time trying to actively kill Afton, but actually at the last minute, nah, actually, I want this man to suffer. I want him to live.
No, because I love how people like to use the ending of the FNAF movie as gotcha, proof. Cassidy's the one you should not have. Motherfucker, if Cassidy's the one you should not have killed, wouldn't Blonde Boy have jumped onto Afton at that moment? Why would he just close the door and walk away? That's not really forcing someone to stay alive. That's letting someone suffer and die.
I've seen someone say it's like, oh no, you see, he's already suffering. That's why he closes the door and let him like continue to live or something. It's like, no, what?
It's a pretty
I
straightforward.
don't really see that's not really a good argument for them being the one you should not have killed. Because would you also not want the same thing?
Also think it could probably be used as evidence that Cassidy might have been spring-locked. Because I never really thought about it that way, but it does make a lot of sense both with Follow Me and that cutscene, where the Blonde Boy's kind of just watching William suffer the same way that he did. But I think it was pretty damning when someone pointed out that it is fairly strange that throughout the 5 nights of Follow Me, we watch the 4 normal characters be torn apart, similar to how William stuffed the kids inside of the animatronics, and then the 5th night, he ends up getting spring-locked. And that's when we see Cassidy.
I mean, if the body in the new kid is meant to be Cassidy, then she was just spring-locked.
Although I do have to say, I can't complain about the fact that people didn't put that together, considering, yes, in Fazbear Frights there are only 2 characters referred to with black and curly hair. And technically in the Silver Eyes she's referred to as straight hair. But blah blah blah. Return to the Pit says she has curly hair. unless that was Susie.
Return to the Pit's happiest day is just happiest day in reverse order.
Yeah. We'll never get over the gravestones in Help Wanted 2, though. It doesn't really go with... I suppose for... No, maybe it works. 2025. Scott confirms the FNAF 1 camera icon being Mimic 1 image is the case. What does this mean for the series? That Scott is a silly Billy who likes making bullshit up. But we kind of already knew that. Referred to with straight hair, and then all was, I thought, just longer. Yes, she is referred to with just long hair. Long curly hair would be silly. Never seen people really draw her that way. Reminds me of my mom's hair. Most people draw her with pigtails, because of the way that she's depicted in a lot of interpretations. Mostly the logbook, but she's also depicted that way in the beautiful Return to the Pit novel. See, the weird thing about the Help Wanted 2 graves is technically the first person to disappear in Happiest Day would have been Freddy. He's the first victim to show up. I believe, let's go see, because I had it up earlier, FNAFlore.com.
You can collect the souls in different orders, and one of them does line up with the Up 1 or 2 gravestone order.
Does it?
From what I've seen, yeah.
Well, ain't that interesting? Resources, maps, 3. Because according to this, Freddy's from BB Adventure, Chica's from from Chica's Party World, Foxy is from Stage 01, and Bonnie's from RWQ. It is true you can play Balloon Boy at any point in time. But Girl, Return to the Pit, potentially security breach, daycare, but probably not. Why would the shadow be brought up in UCN if the characters only referred to the player and the one you should not have killed? Would that imply either the player or the one you should not have killed is the shadow? As in, like, what Nightmare refers to the shadow fears me? I'm not sure, because the man in room 1280 does refer to Andrew as a shadow. Which would make sense, because his whole shtick is that he's pumping William full of agony. And agony is shadow-like.
It's also interesting that he's described as a shadow as well, because what was it, the description for the voice for the voice audition mentions how, like, you are like a child or someone speaking from the shadows.
Makes me wonder if Nightmare Freddy's voice line wasn't about Nightmare Freddy, it was about the one you should not have killed. I've always been hiding in your shadow.
XOR is also a shadow.
This is true. After Midnight Murders got confirmed, the very existence of Andrew and Into the Pit game kind of suggests that Andrew Experiments is dead. You gotta jump on the Hang Drew bandwagon before it gets debunked. Also the shadow in You're the Band. The
I wish-
shadow in You're the Band is suggested to be the marionette.
I wish Andrew experiments was true.
Would have been peak. It would have explained why he has the FNAF 4 memories. I am remade, but not by you, by the one you should not have killed. Don't bring Mike, the one you should not have killed, into this chat. That is no-nos. XOR is full of Andrew? That'd be a little bit of an issue. Well, no, XOR is Andrew. Yeah. Because he's like the shadow version of Dee Dee, and Dee Dee can add characters. Dee Dee is actually the one you should not have killed. William just killed Dee Dee. Sorry. You guys had to learn that beautiful lore in this video. The puppet in You're the Band uses the tentacles Nightmare On used in Help Wanted 1. Maybe she's also agony infected. She's a silly character. They just used the Adventure Time after life logic, and Michael just reverted back to a child, I guess. Nightmare On is also possibly the shadow puppet. Nightmare On says that it is the fearful reflection of what you've created. So if you believe that William created the puppet, well, I mean, he did create the puppet in a way, then yeah, she is a shadow puppet. Or he is a shadow puppet. What's your thoughts on the canonicity of UCN's gameplay roster, by the way? I believe they're all canon. I wish that it was all just William's own thoughts, but unfortunately Help Wanted suggests otherwise. So it's just stupidly canon. Because I thought it was perfect. I thought the concept of the Jacko animatronics being representations of the Fall Fest fire was perfect. It just made too much sense. But lo, Lord forbid I ever actually answer anything.
I don't know why Will cares even a thing people bring up nowadays.
I don't either. Gamer Toy Freddy is canon? Yes, it is. I believe he uses those same exact lines in AR, or at least a few of them. And AR is a canon game, so I would interpret anything that shows up in AR to be canon. I'm guessing since the Nightmare is an evolved version of Shadow Freddy, Nightmare On would be an evolved version of the Shadow Puppet. Makes sense. Yeah. Because I think technically Shadow Puppet is the character that shows up in the Happiest Day minigames. Feel for reflection of what you've created. Halloween version of Nightmare, who was Shadow Freddy, who was technically created by Afton. I mean, yeah, but that's such a lame thought process. Come on, you gotta be fun, fandoms. I don't think Scott was sitting there like, oh yes, I think they're going to think this is about Nightmare. What do you think Lolbit is? Part of me wants to say Lolbit is the agony of Michael Afton. That's been my opinion, and so far no one's really disagreed, because most people don't think Lolbit's canon at all. But I mean,
that is a take I've actually never heard of.
Of it being Michael's agony?
Nope.
I think it's pretty cool. I mean, in instances of its existence, it is always like this helpful character, except for Mike. When it's against Mike, it's always mean. Fun is for the weak /J. I love fun. It has been 3 hours into 2025, and we've already lost our minds. Anyways, when is Nightmare Mangle getting her first fully canon appearance? Never. Just never. Only character from FNAF 4 Halloween Edition that will never reappear ever again, sadly. Complain to Scott. Lolbit is factually canon since they're in the main game like Yendo. Yeah. Except Lolbit is a little bit different because Lolbit is not... they're a digital character. They're not a physical character. Like, there's no physical security camera footage of a Lolbit walking around. They exist purely within the mind. Hence why I thought that they're an agony creature. Whereas Yendo very clearly must have shown up on cameras. Did Scott ever say his previous games were not canon since some appear in later FNAF games? No. Well, like, are you referring to things like not Pilgrim's Progress? What the fuck am I talking about? Like his other games, like Chipper and Sons and those things are not canon. They do have white lines. There's a mask Easter egg, which could work under Agony, maybe. Lolbit DC. Lolbit fucking DCI. Lolbit DCI, huh? Yes, the Desolate Hope. Desolate Hope and Chipper and Sons Lumber Company. I think there's a few more, but I don't think they're on Steam. I think they were on his old website, and you have to pay money to own them. You have to go ask Philae about that. He's Scott Cawthon, guys. He's confirmed it. Coffee is in the FNAF world in Help Wanted. I don't know if he's in Help Wanted. I know that he's in FNAF world. What is your favorite theory? Mine is Mike is still alive after FFPS. Don't ask why. I just really like the theory. Mike's story still feels incomplete. My favorite theory. I don't know. It would have to be something extremely complex, but also really simple. Something that fills in the blanks.
I think I'm going to leave you guys alone with chat.
You have a nice night.
Yeah. See you later, chat. And a happy new year to all of you.
Say goodbye, chat. He appears in Help Wanted's FNAF 3. You're going to have to send me an image of that, Phantoms. Do you think Mini Rena and Biddy Bab have MCI remnant? Yeah, they do suggest that. They're connected via AI. So I think it's more so that the Mini Renas and Biddy Babs are just controlled by the main host, and they're possessed, so therefore they mimic them. He's in the FNAF 3 office and the FNAF 1 hub prize counter, Help Wanted. I have to look into this. I'm not sure. Because in reality, those shouldn't be canon. I don't think the coffee is canon. So I don't know why it would appear in anything else beyond world. Let's go see. Oh, I guess he does. Huh. Maybe that's a Scott God situation? Because I don't see any reason why it would exist in the games. The ability to go into simulations, and he's in FNAF World in a simulation confirmed. That is weird, though. Why would he add that? Scott, you gotta stop. I feel like this man doesn't care about his canonicity. Because that's the only way that I can interpret that. Why is my character not speaking? Something going on with Fujitech? Huh. It should still be working. Huh, I guess my character just doesn't exist anymore. Oh, why does it say that I'm... Okay, is it... For some reason it just wasn't using the right mic, I guess? That's so weird. To a non-clock ending timeline of FNAF World. Well, FNAF World in its entirety isn't canon. FNAF World is only tied to canon, as in the clock ending is canon. If the FNAF universe a simulation? Maybe? I mean, why is the coffee there? So the biggest mystery in Security Breach right now. I don't think we have any big questions about Security Breach. I think Security Breach is pretty straightforward. We set Vanessa free. Gregory kind of set himself free by playing all the arcade games. I think we've already gotten all that. Simulation theory is a theory? That is strange, to say the least. Spinot's only hard one to fit in is Fury's Rage. What's up with the Nightmare on plush? Nightmare on plush is there because Agony. UCN somehow escaped it. I don't care. People can argue all they want. UCN is somewhere still in the modern series. There's no reason for those voice lines to be for Afton unless he already has UCN Agony inside of him. Because the excuse of, oh, well, they're just reusing lines. Those lines weren't William Afton's. Those lines were specifically for other characters. So the fact that he recorded those lines means that he specifically has been through UCN. The thing I wonder about the Scooper is whether or not it actually has Remnant at all. I don't know what's going on with it. The end of the Desolate Hope is Coffee the Crying Child. Is that why his pieces are special? Only his pieces can give life to others? Oh. We need to get this one in the books. Simulation theory. Coffee Pot is Crying Child. That do be how the community reacts. AR having stitch line stories. Sometimes people they just don't want to accept things with inside of the series for some weird reason. The idea is that FNAF is a simulation to explain why the characters can use their minds to create stuff, and the whole Vanny mask thing. I've heard a similar idea. The concept of technology being tied to the Agony realm. Explaining why digital objects can be infected with Agony. Essentially saying that utilizing technology you can tap into the Agony realm. Which is why the arcade machines, the Vanny mask, everything's haunted. I remember that being a theory back in the day. Back in the day, as if fucking Ruin didn't come out like a year ago. Listen, I was on that FNAF world being connected to AR, or being connected to Ruin Grind from day one. That's all I noticed. I was like, wait a minute. We're walking through glitched objects? Sounds an awful lot like FNAF World to me. The coffee in FNAF World has gift boxes ability, which these are used to give gifts, get life. Afton turned Andrew into a pizza and ate him. His soul was in Afton and got pooped out. Decades later, Andrew finds Afton inside the hospital room, and his soul goes back into Afton. I don't know about that one. That'd kind of make a bit of an issue with UCN, but sure. The coffee. I mean, maybe the coffee is the crying child. In Monty Within, technology is able to link with the human brains. This is what made simulation theory, as if they were all in a simulation. That's how they're all able to connect technology like that. Andrew is the bad pizza in FNAF World. Of course. Why couldn't we see it? Scott Cawthon is such a genius. How did we miss this? So tries to explain how Andrew is able to pull the characters from FNAF World to UCN. I feel like Glitch Bear already tells us why that is. Glitch Bear basically says the Puppet Master, he is always watching. Sounds an awful lot like someone else. He is here and always watching, the one you shouldn't have killed. FNAF World move lore. That's crazy. It does. Tell me why Shadow Bonnie has the ability of give gifts, give life. That seriously makes no sense. Unless Shadow Bonnie is the puppet. I've already sat down with the Shadow animatronics. They're weird. I know that Shadow Freddy mimics Afton, and that Shadow Bonnie is usually always nearby Shadow Freddy. Excluding FNAF 4 doesn't exist yet, meaning Shadow Bonnie hasn't been formed as of FNAF 4, and Shadow Freddy is gone after the events of UCN. He just ceases to exist. Most likely, he actually ceases to exist after the agony leaks into the lake, but still. Somehow doesn't solve the baits because both Golden Freddy and Nightmare have Rainy Day too. Golden Freddy, I've switched over to Golden Footprints because it really does seem like Shadow Freddy mimics Afton. Anchovy is a villain in the FNAF World Halloween updates. Anchovy is also mentioned to give a child PTSD in 1936 in a lawsuit found in FNAF 6. Mimicking his father for real. Therefore, the crying child is Burn Trap and Shadow Freddy. Can you imagine? Bite Victim is actually... Oh my god. Bite Victim is actually David from the Edwin stories. And Edwin and Afton are gay lovers. It all makes sense. So that means David, aka Bite Victim, is the mimic. Put the pieces together, guys. Come on. This is what Scott has been trying to tell us this entire time. I think we've all gone insane. I think maybe 3 a.m. on the first day of 2025 is not the best time to be talking about FNAF lore. Otherwise, we're all going to lose our minds. That's what I'm saying, FNAFy. We are losing our minds. Mimic DCI. His name is David. I will never forgive people for coming up with the idea that the Mimic just... What do you mean, guys? The Mimic was casually sitting in the background and watched the MCI. The cupcakes are weird, to be honest. Might be DCI stuff, I don't know.
I did look back at the FNAF 3 stuff. I'm not supposed to be doing that because I'm supposed to be doing that in a live stream with Hyperdroid and T-Dreads for analyzing. But I will say, the FNAF 1 lockers are possessed by the DCI. They're right behind me. Are you saying the DCI is behind me? But FNAF 3 does have some specific things, mostly a number of 4s. Balloon World, you're playing as a balloon boy and see 3 other balloon boys right next to the tree. You have to collect 4 shadow cupcakes in order to access Chica's party world, and when you go into her realm, you can see 4 specific. There's also 4 cakes and 4 children, I believe, with a 5th child being the person we have to give our actual cake to. And I think that's it. I know that there's a missing child inside of Stage 1, but I think those are the only things that I noticed. Really a focus on 4. Which then adds more to Cassidy being shattered. Crying Child is Tiger Rock. The yellow bear in the FNAF movie has 1 blue eye, and their second eye has the ability to light up green in special features on Blu-ray. Ah. There's a shadow in every FNAF 3 minigame. Shadow BB, Shadow Cupcake, Shadow Puppet, and RWQ starts on Stage 1. 14! Oh my god. Get this, man. Call the president. We've got 14 theory to confirm. Maybe Henry possesses Glamrock Freddy and Afton possesses Glamrock Bunny, and they're a gay couple until Monty, possessed by Andrew, jumps the living hell on a Bonnie. I think there's a lot of Glamrock Bonnie fans out there that would not be very happy at you comparing them to William Afton, saying that they're possessed by William Afton. However, there are other people out there that would 100% agree with you. The Shadow Crying Child, the Shadow Princess. No, I really do think fucking, I can't think of her name right now. Certain Theorist is on the money about there being 3 important characters inside the series. William, Henry, and Edwin. The trio. They've been tied since the beginning of time. Glamrock MCI. Okay. I think we've had enough, guys. Never forget blah. Guys, I think maybe it's time to go to sleep. I think maybe it's 3 a.m. and I think you guys are getting a little tired, and I think you guys are, well, it's 3 a.m. here anyway. Maybe it's like 5 a.m. for you guys, and I think it's your bedtime. I think you guys are going a little bit insane. I'm going insane, but I was already insane. You guys are just gonna fall down with me. Okay. Thanks to T-Dreads and Glitch for both coming on, and Sir Cypher coming on, all kinds of awesome theorists. Originally, Raven was supposed to be on here, and Cryonite, and Withered Circle, but then I told them it was like midnight when I wanted to do this, and they said, bro, fuck no. This has been a pretty good stream. I've missed live streaming because you guys are fucking insane. This will not be my last live stream. Remember, I'm going to be on a stream with T-Dreads and Hyperdroid soon, overanalyzing FNAF 1 through 3. And then after that, I will reappear again at some point to talk about more stupid shit. If you guys missed it, I did like cover my entire timeline, so if you guys want to like go back and watch the VOD, I wouldn't suggest it, but according to T-Dreads, it was very soothing. But I will see you guys. Can you survive until 6 a.m.? I feel like I'll stay alive. I think I'll stay alive. I'll see you guys soon, I promise. Matane.